Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Did you see that iron face?
I had to look at the clock.
Did you see that? You see it? I know.
I had to look at the clock.
I know you guys are like, it's going to be a good show.
So let me just start by saying,
wow, go ahead, Brock.
That we have a new art director.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Pays the same as moderator, but I did not do the thumbnail today.
Yes, you did. Yes. Let's go. I love that. And since she's still not back at work for a little while from her little whatever.
Yeah, she'll be getting a text tomorrow morning with the title.
After the breast augmentation.
Butt lift.
Once it's all healed, she'll go back to work at Walmart. But until then, she's my biatch.
Wow.
Not really, but I love her. It was a great picture. So yeah, Brock has been looking at all of these artificial intelligence tools, and it's nice. Like, we needed to get a new computer, so he talked to Michael, my son Toolsy, who games and all this stuff, and so he's able to say, this is what I think you need. And then when it comes to perhaps some of the software stuff, I mean, Amanda did this for me, which is just the cutest thing. I'm a little toothy, but okay.
Yeah, well, see, you're toothy right now.
Anywho, so we're trying out some new software and we're getting some tips from her. And so that's great. Everybody has a role here on the Wendy Bell radio program. Everybody is welcome. You think, I don't have a role to play. Duh, you do. Every day you're here.
Yeah, your role is to rumble.
Every day you're here. We're in the smaller box. And I'm so excited. Thank you to Rumble for putting us in the box. We just crossed over to what? 89,000 followers. So it's, hey, this is as grassroots and authentic and organic as it gets. If you like us and like to be a part of that, I'd appreciate it if you hit the follow button. That's what gives us our big number. And then every day you have a vote, and the vote is your Rumble, which is that thumbs up bubble underneath the video box. So thank you. We were number 6 yesterday.
Oh.
Alan sent me.
I stopped looking.
I don't, because Alan, he's just, see, that's just it. How many of you do that? How many of you were here from the very beginning? You were here maybe as far back as me being on television in Pittsburgh. And maybe some of you as far back as the first job over at KDKA radio. And maybe as far back as WJAS. And maybe as far back as the kitchen.
And then the basement.
And then that flooded. And then we had to go outside. It was freaking stupid. And yet, here you were. So this is very much a group exercise. And you are 100% vested.
And we don't go live on Facebook.
Because my pages were all hacked.
Right. So we'd have to do it from mine. So share the show to your Facebook page, please.
Think about what you could do to help get us out there. That would be huge. All right, I wanted to give you something here. And this is for all you men out there. I think this is something that we need to talk about. It's a new product that I have not talked about on this program, but it's for men, and it's about low testosterone. And this is something that is very common in 1 in 10, nearly 1 in 10 men over 50 now have clinically low testosterone. And average male testosterone levels slowly, they dissipate over time. But here's the problem, low T. We chalk this up to a lot of different things: gaining fat, losing muscle, brain fog, poor sleep, mood swings, low libido, hair loss, low energy, right? If any of that stuff is you and you're like, I just always thought that that's just what happens to us once we get older. Wait a minute. What if it's not? What if you could get something to help you? Well, the wellness company, twc.health/Wendy, has a product called Mars. It is a non-injectable, hormone-free formula designed to support your body's own testosterone production. No prescriptions, no synthetic hormones, no needles. It's got horny goat weed in it.
Of course.
It's got all sorts of clinically backed ingredients, including Tongkat Ali, Shilajit, Tribulus, boron, zinc, and this unique combination reduces supplement intake quantity and supports energy and stamina and confidence and sexual health. So power your performance, restore your edge, Go to twc.health/Wendy. Use Wendy as a promo code, get 10% off, and boom, free shipping. This is U.S. residents with the free shipping. Mars. It's called Mars. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus, right?
That's true.
Right? So that's why it's called that. But I think it's very interesting. And I like that it's hormone free. It's not something you inject. Something to think about, men. I want you strong. I want you healthy. I want you happy.
Men are from Normalville.
I want you happy. And I love men.
And women are from Crazy Town.
I love you. So take good care of yourself because we need you. And by the way, I believe at the end of the program, I'm going to make the case that it's America's young men that are going to save the young women of this country. I do believe. So if you're a young man, start working out. Or at least paying attention. I don't know why that made me giggle. It was kind of creepy. Anyway. It's great to be with you guys. This stuff is coming out. My goodness.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at you.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Oh, hello, America. Greetings to all of you across the beautiful fruited plain. Welcome home to the Wendy Bell radio program. I want you to realize something very, very early on in this broadcast. And I hope that you all feel this way about whatever it is that you do, quote unquote, for a living in your life. I love waking up early in the morning and scouring over all of the news headlines and getting ready to prepare a show for you so that we together can spend hours every day having fun, yes, but talking about the stuff that matters. And I want to thank you for that. Because if it wasn't for you, there would be no this. And I'm profoundly grateful for your support. WendyBellRadio.com is how you follow along. I'm a common sense conservative mom, and I tell you the truth. And it's going to begin here after the most important part of the program. So get comfortable, hang out for a while, and thank you. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. So my neighborhood is a complete cluster ball. It's time, and I'm grateful for it. But God, does it suck when it's happening. Whose entire community is under construction right now? Because the city of Pittsburgh, I don't know. Is there a street in the city of Pittsburgh that doesn't have a construction vehicle on it? Or somebody, hey, if you need a job, you could be a flagger anywhere in the city of Pittsburgh. There's got to be a million of them. They're everywhere. Streets are closed. They just did this multi-gazillion dollar upgrade of all of the plumbing, something that needed to happen. We had water pipes dating back to the 1800s, and they kicked the can, raise the rates, right? And then finally they're like, well, snap. We've got a problem, Houston. And now they're like digging up every single street in the city, which is fine. You're okay with that. You understand it's the part of maintenance and progress, right? But every single road is a cluster. There's swaths of asphalt that have been laid down to cover up the spots. And now finally, the road crews are out It's so curious how it all coincides with the draft. Isn't it weird? Thanks, NFL. Appreciate it because we've needed our streets paved for a while and the trash picked up. And now all of a sudden the streets are being torn up. They're doing all the milling and the paving, multi-million-dollar project. And today it happened to be in every single aspect of my life. Trying to leave my house, flagger is like, no, sorry, you got to go that way. Well, you head that way, and there's a detour and another flagger. Oh, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go around this thing. And I watched school buses, construction equipment, tractor trailers trying to get around all of this stupid roundabouts in my stupid neighborhood, right? So look, I'm happy. I'm grateful. Thank you. We need it. It's progress. But you have to also be in the mindset that wherever you're going, when these projects are happening in your community, you've got to give yourself a lot of extra time. Today, behind the wheel of the car, I was white-knuckled. I was saying things that ladies shouldn't be saying. And I was super frustrated until I was like, you know what? This isn't on my schedule. I have absolutely no control of this. There is nothing I can do. I can't force the people in front of me to pay attention. It is the pedal on the right when the light turns green, right? And you have to take it back a notch and try to breathe. I'm not good at that. This is what's going on in our country right now. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm in traffic, gridlock traffic, right? And I'm so frustrated by it. I'm running late, but we need it to happen. And so you have to grin and bear it and just plug through it. That's exactly what's going on in this country. Donald Trump has every single jackhammer that the government owns, and they're doing it now everywhere. Blowing up everything, tearing up everything. The House of Cards, this whole Congress is a crime syndicate idea that is today's show, is becoming more and more evident. He's broken through the concrete, right? He's made it down to the pipes. We've replaced the pipes. We're now in the 21st century. Thank goodness. And now it's a matter of filling in, repaving over everything. This is what's happening. Do you see this Ruben Gallego guy, the senator from Arizona, who looks like he's either on speed, meth, coke, whatever the hell it is that makes you sweaty and nervous and look around with huge eyes? He held a press conference yesterday impromptu to try to tell everybody, I had no idea Eric Swalwell was reportedly roofing girls at bars, dragging them back to hotels and raping them. No. I mean, he's my best friend, and he was at my wedding, which, by the way, I used campaign money to pay for, but it was a hell of a time in Puerto Rico, wasn't it? Right? And now all this stuff is coming out. It's not just Democrats. It's Republicans. It's a culture. It's a problem. President Trump is blowing it up. This whole time that you and I have waited for. Did you guys hear about this? This is huge. This is a story that's going to get buried today. And I dare say it is the most important story of the day. And it's the clown whistleblower guy who was listening in on President Trump's phone call with Vladimir Zelensky back in 2017. It's him being referred by the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, for criminal referral. This is a pretty big deal. Criminal investigation by the Department of Justice. I want to remind you how low these people went to destroy one man because he had all of the equipment and he wanted to change the pipes and blow up the streets and pave a new path. This guy lied. He was a Biden associate. He was a Biden jock sniffer. He was a guy who traveled regularly with Joe Biden to Ukraine while he was VP. This is a guy who hated Trump, hates conservatives, and they used his testimony to impeach President Trump. Did you guys know that between the years 2017 and 2019, there were more than 9 million Facebook posts about Russiagate? About Donald Trump being a Russian asset, about he's working with Putin. Oh my God. It was all so ridiculous. And you and I sat back and we're like, no way. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. What a corrupt bunch of losers. Oh. And then they dropped a virus on us, trying to tell us it happened in some wet market because they think you're stupid, because they're so used to getting away with it. because they're so used to you just dealing with the potholes, driving around the rough pavement, finding detours around the sunken areas in your road, proverbially speaking, America. But you'll just deal with it. You'll just grin and bear it, move along, and don't worry about this. Well, you know what? No. We're tired of it. And this whole culture, whatever this culture is in Congress, that seems to manifest itself in the men there. I don't know. I'm sure the chicks are nasty too. But the men in Congress who believe that because they put on a freaking American flag pin on their lapel, that they have, I guess, justice to go and touch, intimidate, harass, or rape any woman that they wish. It's all going to go. And so here is my connection to my drive into the studio today. What's happening in my community is sorely needed. It's decades in the making. It's finally happening. It's finally going to be fixed. Somewhere down the road, the roads will be paved. The traffic will move smoothly. And you and I can get back into the basic business of driving around where we need to go in our lives. This process that's unraveling before our very eyes, we've waited for I dare say, a decade. It's easy to get frustrated by the pace. I get it. White-knuckled on the steering wheel. But it's happening. One by one, day by day, the change is happening, and it must. I believe in making America great again. I believe that there are a lot of different kinds of people who can make that happen. It's not just President Trump. But I believe we're on the cusp of a phenomenal reset that is going to take people, and you're going to hear from her next, Rosie O'Donnell, waking up and seeing the fraud that she fell for, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's roads being repaved or it's people like Rosie O'Donnell snapping out of hibernation and the trance and seeing what it is that we have been asking for. That time has arrived. Enjoy. Few flagmen and detours along the way, but we're getting there. When we come back, she's literally on the brink of tears. Eric Swalwell, I believed in you. I thought you were everything. Really? Oh my. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. All right.
In fairness, can Rosie really pick the men?
I don't know. Isn't she gay?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever, you do you. Extra discount today and tomorrow is yesterday, today, and tomorrow at tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. This is the stuff that I talk about. This is the velour massage oil. It is phenomenal. You're like, well, I'm not really big into massage. Well, you are really big into having the most moisturized, smooth, soft, and wonderful looking skin. Whether it's your arms, your elbows, your heels, your fingertips, or your cuticles, this is fabulous. Then there's this, which is also going to be a part of my Mother's Day favorite things box. We'll let you know because it's coming out. The Blue Calm Face Serum, ladies and gentlemen, with Blue Tansy. I can't tell you what Blue Tansy is. They can. Makes your face. At night, wash your face. Pat it dry. Put a pump of that in your hand. Warm it up. Go like this and just rub it all over your... Oh, my gosh. I'm personally believing that I'm freezing the hands of time. I will forever look like this and I will never age. That might be fake news, but we're going to go for it. tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. Their stuff is... So if you go to their tab, it says Soothe. Both of these products are under the Soothe tab. So you would get both of these for a discount. If you want to try it before you buy it for somebody you love, why not? Now's the time. extra discount, and it was already discounted for us. And they added on, I believe, an extra discount. I'm like, I love you. Tulipblooms.shop/Wendy.
Dr. Gerald 65 gave you $10. Says I go back as far as radio station days.
Yay! Thank you. Well, that's great. That should at least be worth a 50.
That's as far back as I go. The radio station.
Yep. He had no knowledge of who I was, which is good. No knowledge. Dr. Gerald or Dr. Gerald. Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah, you guys can tell us. Hey, tell me back here over on the comments section. Tell me if you're brand. I would love everybody to weigh in. When did you start paying attention to this program? When did we catch your eye? Was it the television news days here if you're from Southwestern Pennsylvania? Did you see me on Newsmax when I worked there for several years? Maybe you caught my show. Maybe you, because they used to play the stream of this on the television, which is very interesting. Where'd you get us? Was it in the basement?
Was it the first Facebook thing when we just did the monologue every day?
Mm-hmm. And then we're like, maybe there's something to do here, right? I love it. I'd love to know when we got on your radar, and then maybe why you stuck around.
Probably.
And if you have negative comments, drop that too. I read those too. So
they stuck around because of me.
Probably. Just don't hurt my feelings. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, I want to quickly underscore the importance of this story, that the whistleblower who started the entire ball of wax that ultimately led to the first impeachment of President Trump and sucked 2 years of oxygen out of his administration, as all he was trying to do was close the border, build the wall, bring down prices, drill, baby, drill, tell the truth, protect you and your family, right? All of the things that he tried to do, strengthen the military. We got sucked into this nonsense from a whistleblower who really wasn't. And by the way, the guy who helped Eric Charmella, who the Democrats have tried desperately to protect because they didn't want anybody to know just how big he was into Joe Biden and the Democrat Party's pocket. We must also talk about Alexander Vindman, that no-lipped little weasel who fancies himself now a senator. He's running for Marco Rubio's seat in Florida. Are you out of your mind that this guy, Eric Charmella, is being now criminally referred? He's going to be investigated by the FBI. They could put together a grand jury, could dig into it. This guy could be toast, as well he should be. He made it up. And the Democrat Party knew it. And they allowed it to happen. The same way they allowed the whole Epstein debacle to grow into a big nonsense ball of zero. It's obnoxious. And it has to stop. And it's about to. Wheels moving. Rosie O'Donnell, I just don't know what she's going to say. I don't know what she's going to say next. Buyer's remorse. First of all, she bought into the whole, this country sucks so much and Donald Trump is such clear and present danger. Oh my gosh. He's a MAGA extremist. He's a fascist. He's a racist. He's a misogynist. He's a rapist. He hates everybody. I'm moving. And then she moves and she's like, well, snap. Everywhere else other than America isn't the best, right? And so she weasels her way back to America and finds out that one of her besties, Eric Swalwell, who she hi, Eric. How are you? She thought he was a cutie bug. Fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. What a cute family man. Oh, look at his cute little family, his kids and everything. I love him. Gave money to his campaign. Fought against people who were like, dude, Eric Swalwell's a creepy son of a gun. And he was like, how dare you? As she was talking about squirrels. Woman has issues. I'm serious. She's going to need to make an extra appointment with her therapist because she's very upset that Eric Swalwell didn't turn out to be worth the money she gave his campaign. Let's listen in. Rosie O'Donnell feeling very crestfallen and swindled. Part 1.
Country when you're there. Like, you can't help but feel it. Now, can we talk a little bit about Eric Swalwell? I know that guy. In the what kind of way? Like, spoke to him on the phone a couple times. Donated money to him, I believe. Talked about him in some public appearances years ago about how I believed in him and his cute little family and 2 kids and standing up to all those people when he, berates them for their moralist behavior. And then all this comes out about him. And it's heartbreaking to me, And I wrote him. I wrote him a little message, and I said, Bill Clinton broke my heart, and now you did too. The conclusion I've come to, men suck.
No, you make bad decisions. Men don't suck. There are some who do. But before you make a blanket statement like that, why is there never personal responsibility on your part, Rosie? You fell for it. We didn't. And then we told you. And you went out and you doubled down and then you tripled down and then you went freaking nutty and then you moved. So I'm pretty sure the problem isn't that men suck. I'm pretty sure it's that you have bad decision-making capabilities. You fell for it. You've fallen for all of it. All of it. How many others is it going to take, Rosie? Well, she comes back literally on the brink of tears. And she says, basically, it's men's fault. It's all about men. They're horrible, awful people. No, you have responsibility, sweetie pie. You do.
The way that they are physiologically, they can't sort of control their sexual urges. This is what I find. And you get all of these things now coming out with Epstein and child abuse in America, and in what communities is it more rampant? And do you think Jeffrey Epstein was the only one running a brothel for children for billionaires? I don't think he was.
Rosie, where have you been? Because if you watch this program, you might not like me because I support President Trump, but you would get it bashed into your head sooner rather than later that you don't ask critical questions. You don't think objectively and look for results before you put all of your eggs in the basket of a Democrat. You're so blinded by hating Trump, hating this idea that we should work together to make America great again, that you put yourself out there and now we all look at you as a lunatic. And I have no idea why your filter's on 100% sweetness. We know what you look like. It's okay. Nobody's judging you on that. We've judged you well beyond that because of the dumb stuff you've said. So don't be looking for an apology from the men of the world, Rosie. You owe us an apology. How about that? Where does that factor into your analysis? Is it the problem with men? And now all of a sudden, we're able to determine what a man is. Isn't that curious? Huh. But I'm sure Rosie believes that she should get behind the whole tranny thing, right? Do you see the conundrum, the pretzel twists, the acrobatics? It's about to get really interesting. Eric Swalwell's taken down Ruben Gallego, senator from Arizona. Oh boy, get the popcorn next. Oh, Rosie. Men suck. Well, some do.
Some do.
Some do. But I'm not so sure if we are going to put it out there, men suck versus the white college educated toxic liberal chick. Okay. There are enough good men to balance this out. You guys are going to ruin a generation of young people. You already have. All right. It's almost like I had a little to say about that.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So I want to read you a couple testimonials about ghost bed, at least one here. I've spent 2 nights in my ghost bed, and now I know why they named it that. It is supernaturally comfortable. I slept straight through the night without flipping and flopping. My hips didn't hurt. I don't even need the bed move. Oh, I don't even feel the bed move when my husband moves around. And the cooling is great. It keeps my temperature just right. I don't get hot when snuggled under the blankets, but it also does not make me feel cold. This bed is amazing. Why don't you try it? So seriously, it's like a roof, right? Well, cheaper, but you don't really think about your roof until you have to, until you're like, oh, snap. That's the deal. You don't really think about your mattress until you wake up after a week and you're like, son of a mother, I cannot get comfortable. My back is killing me. Maybe, honey, we should get a new mattress. Maybe you should check out Ghost Bed, made in America, made by a family that cares about giving you literally a therapeutic health system. It's not just a place to lie down. It's a place to re-energize, to get the rest that you need on a mattress designed by a fellow who's had his fair share of surgeries of his back and neck. 101 night sleep trial. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. They throw on an additional discount. They have sheets. They have pillows. They have mattresses for campers and RVs. I think they even have dog beds. Might even have dog beds. Ghostbed.com, right? Ghostbed.com/Wendy. I like this company. Their products are fantastic. We bought the hybrid. Well, they sent it to me. I didn't buy it. Don't tell Brock that because he'll be like, oh, it must be nice to be a 1%. Ghostbed.com/Wendy. I told him the other day, and I'm not so sure I delivered it in a soft way. I was like, if I never hear one more time that you weren't invited, it won't be too soon. So tuck that away for the future. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah, that's not funny. And it never was. And it actually pisses me off. So please stop doing that. Oh, hey, after 50, you're sort of like, whatever. I'm not going to play by your rules anymore. I want what I want. Damn it. All right. Welcome. It's great to be with you guys. Let's see how you're doing. Did you guys see our little shorts? Michael Toolsy's putting out little videos like he does on Instagram and TikTok, etc. And he's putting them out on Rumble, and they're under the page called Shorts. So we're hopeful that that'll also help us grow, trying to get to 100,000 followers. What'd you do? Oh, snap. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. That's not enjoyable in the least. Do you need some CB Distillery products?
No. But if I did, they were 60% off. I'd hurry up and buy them.
Yeah. I'm thinking about products that are super great for you to consider for gifts coming up. Think about parents. Think about Father's Day, Mother's Day. Maybe somebody in your life has an anniversary or a birthday, and you're like, I don't know what I said. What do you get somebody?
I'm trying to talk our friend into putting together the Father's Day thing of spices for Disinfect with Sniper.
Oh, very nice. Why not? Why not? And then, for what I'm talking about, CB Distillery, Brock and I have both used their products. CBDistillery.com, products that help you with pain, products that help you fall asleep, stay asleep, wake up feeling great, and products that help with anxiety and stress. So I know quite a few people who take medication because they feel like they can't control their anxiety. Well, wouldn't you much rather take something that isn't going to throw your gut inside out and have odd side effects? That's what CBD products are all about. They're clean, they're green, no fillers, no fluff. They're independent, tested, not even required, and they pay a third party to come in and make sure their quality is what they say it is. I like this company.
Kate did a dive one though.
60% off with the promo code Rumble. CBDistillery.com, promo code Rumble. What did she find?
She was looking around at different places,
Mhm.
and she looked into CB Distillery and said their stuff is off the charts. Their reviews and like from people.
There's like 2 million satisfied customers, and that number is old. That's like from 2 years ago, and like 500 bazillion 5-star reviews. Right? You can't quote me on that, but it's somewhere near there. So. I love them. And
that's an official number.
When the owner of the company is like, look, we're all about quality, that's it. And I'm like, How? And then he told me. We get inspected, we get tested, we get independent reviews, we care. And I'm like, okay, let's go. And then he sent us some products, and I was like, mm-hmm. The oil, the roll-on, the salve. I just like to say salve. It sounds so gross. You're going to rub some salve on it.
That'll make it all better.
It's gonna
make
be-
it moist.
The cusp of poor Rosie O'Donnell, lib extraordinaire, lesbian who does obviously not like men, who thinks all men suck because Eric Swalwell does. I think that's a pretty big jump. But there is personal responsibility here, is there not? It's so funny that we take that out of the equation. It's one thing to be lied to. It's another thing to be manipulated, propagandized, to be robbed, to be thieved from, to have your election stolen, have the guy you vote for get impeached because people make up stories to destroy. This all is coming out. It's all coming out. Can you imagine when we honestly have a conversation about COVID? Remember how I was such a danger in 2020 and 2021? I got demonetized, deplatformed. I got all sorts of stuff. People were like, wow, that's some toxic stuff she's talking about. What was I doing? I was going on the CDC website and going through all of their stuff and putting it up on the board, showing you and saying, how about you decide? What do you think? Because this is what I found. I did the time. Now you decide. We don't ever get that. We get told what we're supposed to think. It's changing. Senator Ruben Gallego from Arizona has been in the Senate for a hot second, probably as long as Barack Obama was before they anointed him their latest shiny metal object. I don't think Ruben Gallego's political star is going to shoot up into the heavens as much as Barack Obama's did. Because this dude hooked himself to Eric Swalwell and basically called him his bestie. This is my best friend. Look, I don't know a lot of dudes who are best friends. That's fine. Traveling shirtless on camels with each other and your wives, fine. This is what we do when we have vacations. But should they be paid for by the American taxpayer? I don't think so. And I don't think you should be able to, reportedly, prey on a woman and take what you want without her permission, without her knowledge. Ruben Gallego has a storied past, and it's all coming out. I want to read you a little bit from the UK Daily Mail, and then we're going to get to some Carrie Lake sound. Remember, she ran against him. She has some details that she shared with her constituents on the campaign trail, and they're going to make a lot of sense to us after we read this story. Bombshell records reveal Eric Swalwell and Ruben Gallego splurged campaign cash in Puerto Rico during Gallego's wedding. Isn't that sweet? Disgraced ex-Congressman Eric Swalwell and now Senator Ruben Gallego both spent campaign funds at Puerto Rican resorts during the same weekend as Gallego's wedding. It's so weird. Federal Election Commission records show. Gallego has scurried to distance himself from Swalwell, his former close friend, after the congressman and candidate for California governor resigned from both positions following a series of troubling sexual assault allegations. That's putting it lightly. But the true intimacy of the relationship is beginning to unravel, the Daily Mail can reveal. Swalwell's political operation made a pair of expenditures at the Hyatt Regency Grand Reserve Puerto Rico, totaling $1,522 on June 7th, 2021. An Instagram post by a wedding guest reviewed by the Daily Mail tagged that hotel as the location of Gallego's wedding on the exact same date. The political operation of Gallego, the groom, spent $2,000 at the nearby Fairmont El San Juan the same day. Gallego, a congressman at the time, was elected to the Senate in November 2024. After publication Tuesday night, Gallego's spokesperson provided an invoice from a September donor retreat in Puerto Rico showing a $2,000 charge transferred at check-in. And the spokesperson claims it corresponds to the June 7th FEC disbursement. Now, how would that be a donor-funded junket. We're paying for your hotel room at your wedding. What? So that's not even the tip of the iceberg, because Carrie Lake told us a long time ago, she warned the people of Arizona before the 2024 election. Look, the guy who fancies himself failing upwards like so many people do is a womanizer, and he's known to mistreat women. And she says, take it from me, I know. Here's Carrie Lake on the campaign trail 2024.
Because the people have got to know before they vote who this guy is. His ads leave out a whole lot of despicable treatment of women. His ads don't tell you that about the time that he harassed and threatened a 20-year-old female intern, and when she complained about it, she was fired. His ads don't tell you about the fact that his fellow Democrats down at the state legislature gave him the nickname the Troll because of how creepy and degrading he was with women. And his ads don't tell you about the time he told a Latina woman that because she was a Republican, she wasn't a real Latina.
So believe all women, get on board, me too, whatever we need to do that's politically expedient, that gets us some votes. But of course, the backstory is that the guy who likely was the one filming Eric Swalwell on the bed with the prostitute, which has come out, which was the final straw, was likely Ruben freaking Gallego. And so for him to say, what? I didn't know anything about Eric Swalwell. Eric Swalwell did what? I am just so offended. He lied to me. Like, it's one thing to be Rosie O'Donnell. She's dumb. She's drinking the Kool-Aid. She's all about it. She's a product of CNN, MSNBC, and the New York. She doesn't read the New York Times. CNN and MSNBC, right? And probably, I don't know, Stephen Colbert. It's a different story. It's a different story than when you pay attention to what the allegations about this guy were all about well before it became public. Carrie Lake said this, but his most unthinkable act as a man is this. Listen.
His ads don't tell you, frankly, about the most unforgivable act against a woman. When he walked out on his pregnant wife when she was 9 months pregnant, days before she delivered their firstborn child, he served her papers and he ran off to sleep with a DC lobbyist. That's despicable. I can promise you, if Ruben Gallego will abandon his family to jump in bed with a lobbyist, he will abandon Arizona in favor of DC lobbyists every single vote.
And for Ruben Gallego to say he had no idea that Eric Swalwell was a scumbag is laughable. It's a joke. And here he is yesterday on the heels now of Republicans basically saying, we told you so. This is what he was trying to say. He looks extraordinarily panicked. He says he's trying to get out in front of these terrible ties between him and Swalwell, he and Swalwell. And he wants to get out in front of it lest they be impacted. Oh, kind of like your 9 months pregnant wife who you divorced? Let's listen in.
I don't know what's going on with his family, but it's definitely a horrible situation for family. They're using that as a cover to attack me right now because they can't do it. They couldn't take back 2024 because they ran a horrible race. But now this is what they want to do. They just want to hurt me as much as they can. Presidents or anything else like that, I don't care. We're going to wait. And that's not even a thing right now. The most important thing is I want to protect my family. I want to protect my family's reputation. And this is why we're talking about right now.
Senator, you've gone on trips, on vacations, officially, unofficially. You've gone out, presumably, with the congressman. You've never even witnessed him, I don't know, engaging in an affair?
No.
Never.
What about? No.
No. Do you guys believe that? He wants you to believe that the Republicans are butthurt that Carrie Lake didn't win the Senate seat. And so now they're launching in some revenge and retribution tour like they do, right? No. This is you being called on the carpet for your relationship that you very much enjoyed with Eric Swalwell until it blew up in Eric Swalwell's face. And now you're like, oh, fudge. Please let me give him the Heisman and distance myself from the toxic waste dumpster fire that is Eric Swalwell. Meantime, The left went from, we had no idea, Nancy Pelosi, absolutely no idea whatsoever, to, well, it was kind of an open secret that Swalwell was a scumbag. Here's Ro Khanna with CNN. Ro Khanna, congressman, is an oversight committee member. Of all people who run oversight, don't you think he should have known about the very loud, obvious rumors about Eric Swalwell?
I want to start with that question that the White House press secretary posed there. Why were Democrats on Capitol Hill silent for so long when, in many cases, we're learning some aspects of this behavior, alleged behavior of Swalwell's, was an open secret, quote unquote?
Well, look, I had heard rumors that he was a womanizer, and that's one of the reasons that I endorsed Tom Steyer in the race and didn't go along with a lot of the other California establishment that was lining up behind Swalwell. But I certainly didn't know that he was abusing staff, let alone that there were allegations of rape or date rape. But this is a wake-up call for the Congress. We need to be far more proactive in allowing staffers to come to a place they feel safe to launch these kind of complaints. And any member who knew about this should really be forthright.
So he wants to say that he's in the clear because he didn't endorse Eric Swalwell. Instead, he supports Tom Steyer. Tom Steyer, the Democrat, also running and now the front runner in the California gubernatorial primary, who believes that ICE agents should be prosecuted and put in prison. What? That's your guy, Ro Khanna? That's who you're for? Yeah, I'm not so sure what's worse, running interference for Eric Swalwell and pretending after the fact that I have no idea. I mean, like, it's so weird. He was hiding in plain sight to, I'm going to put all my eggs in the basket of a guy who believes that the people who are doing the job to enforce the law to get criminal illegal aliens out of our community should be arrested and put in prison. That's your guy, Ro? Wow. You know what, Brock? I'm going to skip the CNN next clip. I want to jump right to Greg Gutfeld because he said yesterday, he says, how did such a slimy, smarmy, smelly self-promoter like Eric Swalwell make it this far?
Seriously, after the spy scandal, he should have been sent to Sing Sing after playing Bang Bang with Fang Fang. You're telling me that the Dems couldn't find anyone better out of 8 billion people? What, was Bill Cosby busy? But the fact is, the Dems are willing to accept anything as long as it provides a service. And what was Eric's? He was a low-level henchman, told what to say, no matter how absurd, and he would. But like all hired goons that can't even bench press their body weight, they're cut loose the second they're in the way. Everyone tolerates him for now because he'll do anything for the Syndicate. If only he'd kept to his own little patch of turf, though, okay with his grubby status. They probably would have left him alone and kept looking the other way. But once he wanted more, off he went.
And that is the Nancy Pelosi effect. She is the crime family syndicate mob boss. And any illusions to the contrary, well, we can dispel those. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. Now, Eric Swalwell, Congress has its own 1-800 hotline. Were you fiddled with in the halls of Congress by one of America's elected representatives? Call us. We want to talk to you. What? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's nuts. It's nuts. This is, look, they're repaving and milling right now. This is the road work. This is the milling. They did the plumbing, right? They got down, they did all of the pipes. We put in the new whatevers. We probably put in some new electrical stuff around there too. Now we've got to tear up the remnants of the pavement and put down something that's smooth and reasonable. Yeah, we don't have that. We've had craters. We've gotten manhole covers that almost, make you pop a tire. We're watching right now what's going on in my neighborhood. It is the milling of our whole system here. Donald Trump and his election, because of you, single-handedly opened the floodgates for all of this jazz to come out. And it's fantastic. Dr. Charles Simkovich of the Simkovich Concussion Institute is one of those doctors I want you to write down phone number for. And there's only maybe 3 of those people I would ever tell you about and want you to hold dear. Because even if you live out of the state of Pennsylvania, even if you're not anywhere near southwestern part of it here in Pittsburgh, you could come see him. You could come spend 4 or 5 days. And if you have a traumatic brain injury or a concussion, if you have chronic headaches, it just absolutely ruin your life. And now we know you can add tremors onto the list of things that Dr. Simkovich can treat that have to do with the brain. It's worth it. Wouldn't you take 4 or 5 days off your life and come here for you, for a change? SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. They have an intense treatment protocol. It's not painful. They're not going to cut into you. Nobody's got syringes or needles or instruments that are going to hurt you. It's all about healing you and adjusting things that when you get bonked pretty good, kind of get out of whack. And if you can ease them back into place, sort of like having a bad back. If you can get the therapy, you can heal. This is what he provides, and it's intense. And then he says, I want you to book 4 days in a row. We're going to see you several hours every single day until you're fixed. I love it. 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. Totally worth it. Jot down the number too. Put it in your phone because you know somebody's going to be like, oh, my grandson got a little, and he's just, oh, I know a place. Well, that's in Pittsburgh. It's kind of far. Do you want your kid to fully recover quickly? Okay, then you should probably call. You could be that person to them. I love Dr. Simkovich. She's a sweetheart. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's see how you people are doing. The dreaded you people. 1.69. Can we please have 300 people click that thumbs up button underneath the video box? 4,700 people. Hi. So glad you're here. I don't know if we're in the box anymore. Are we in the little box anymore? They take us out.
They probably did.
I know. I don't know why they do that. I'm so fabulous, and it's just ridiculous. And who do they put in there? Somebody who's not nearly as wonderful as I am. Right? I mean, like... True. So Demand, she made that, huh?
Yeah.
I love it. Let's see what your comments are.
Wait till I get better at it.
275 comments. That's very impressive. All right, here's a question for you. Wendy Bell never needs a filter. Pshaw. I'm on 50% right now.
Just 50?
Yeah. Wow.
What?
Yeah, just 50.
Oh.
Here, I'll show you. You guys want to do a little? You don't want to do a little trick?
Don't be playing with it.
You gotta love Ro Khanna. I didn't support Eric Swalwell. I like the guy who thinks ICE agents should be arrested and thrown in prison. Vote for me. Like what? What? Ro Khanna, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I think, you know, when you work in something so long or you do something and you're so in your bubble, you literally have no idea what the hell is going on anywhere else. You would think of all people who'd be connected, of all people who would know what was going on, all people who would know what matters to us. Because we scream it every single day. It would be Congress. No. These people are completely disconnected. They have absolutely no interest, no connection to us whatsoever. I'm 100% down with this. I believe this more and more every single day. So I want to get to this. There's a news. I think it's damning. Of course it's damning, but necessary. That they need to put out some kind of a phone number so that women, no matter who it is in Congress, so that people who have been victims of sexual abuse, let's just say women. I'm not playing the game anymore. I'm not playing your LGBTQ, tranny, nonsense, stupid thing. Women raped by or sexually harassed by members of Congress. Call a number. This is This is crazy. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro launching this. This is pretty big. She's U.S. Attorney, isn't she? Yes, she is. I want you to hear this news report because she's posting a tip line encouraging anybody who's been victimized by a member of Congress to call her, to call this number. And yes, you can remain anonymous. They want the names of any member of Congress who accessed that hush fund that's had $17 million paid out that you and I paid for. It's got to end. It's got to end now. Here's a news report announcing the tip line.
D.C. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro tells Fox 5 exclusively she wants to hear from any potential victims in the district. Pirro wants to make sure people know that they can come to her office to report any sexual misconduct allegations, and they can remain anonymous.
Most people think of the United States Attorney as going into federal court, but the truth is we're double hatters here. So I handle all the local crime as well as the federal crime. So I want potential victims and witnesses and anyone who has any information to come to my office or call a hotline, which is 202-252-0809.
Pirro's office is responsible for prosecuting both federal and state crimes, so she is responsible for prosecuting anything that happens on federal property, like the Capitol, and anywhere else within the district.
Gosh, news has gotten so bad. She just said that, dude. Right? Meantime, you've got Cheyenne Hunt. She is the progressive attorney who's the one. Isn't it so weird that it would be a progressive to blow the whistle on what's needed to be blown for so long? She says, look, about 30 women so far have already come forward to her to report stories of sexual abuse. Listen.
It's becoming clear from the messages that I'm receiving that this problem is bigger than Eric Swalwell. They desperately want you to believe that this is a few bad apples, but the truth is, it's a systemic rot. Women are reaching out about experiences they've had of sexual harassment or even assault by other members of Congress and also by other men in positions of power. This is beyond party lines. This is beyond politics. I'm hearing from folks in every industry who are saying that men in positions of power are exploiting them. The resources that we put together to expose and take down Eric Swalwell are still available to you. If you have a story about him, any other member of Congress, or any other man in a position of power that you want to explore coming forward with, we can help you. We can connect you to pro bono legal counsel so you understand your rights. We can connect you to trusted journalists who will protect your anonymity as you come forward. And we're happy to just talk to you about this and support you through this because it is incredibly difficult. They desperately want this to be an isolated moment, but we're putting our stake in the ground as the next generation of women saying that this is a movement, that we will not stand for this revival of misogyny. This is our rebuttal. And if you're sweating and you're scared, you should be.
Huh. So now that leaves me with many feelings. One, it's got to stop. Right? The sexualizing, at least in Congress, if we're going to focus on one spot, it's got to stop. Period. But the whole Me Too thing is still extraordinarily fraught with peril. It is absolutely it's a dangerous thing. Because once you start believing some women, where does it end? And are all women telling the truth? Well, I don't know, ladies and gentlemen, but they got the Pavers, the Millers, they got all of it out, ready to do the work, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, hour number 2 of the Wendy Bell radio program, all roads lead back to the boss, the crime boss, Nancy, next. So, like, her misogyny, can we stop it? And she's like, we're going to hook you up with trusted news people, reporters who are going to dig into this. Who, Cheyenne? Who exactly does your progressive self think is a trusted media personality? Somebody at CNN? No, thank you. Somebody at MS Now? No, thank you. How about the networks? Absolutely not. We're going to put you in touch with a trusted, because then it sounds like a witch hunt. We're going to put you, now we're not going to investigate it. We're going to put you in touch with a member of the media who's going to be able to use it and use it as a megaphone. And then, in fact, we've already taken down Eric Swalwell. That's what she said. The information that we use to take down Eric Swalwell, we can take from you, and we can do it with other people too. Brock, am I wrong?
No.
I don't mean to play devil's advocate here, but I don't believe all women any more than I believe all my kids.
And this might come out wrong, but like your harassment might be different than someone else's harassment. And your harassment might cost somebody way more.
Can Tara Reid call?
Probably not. But like,
that should be the first call. The woman who said it, Joe Biden.
Hell, I got chastised for opening the door for a woman.
Well, it is very piggish of you to do that.
Right. I don't know. What if I whistle?
You would never do that.
What if I did?
Good for you.
But someone might consider that harassment. What if I tell you look nice in that outfit? Some women might see that as harassment. These toxic.
How about you do you? You do you, and the people who suck will be flushed out. They have to be.
Yeah, but if you can be anonymous.
Well, if anything is actionable, obviously it's all going to come out. They're not going to be protected. So you can only go so far trying to ruin someone's life.
Well, I don't know. They try to.
See, like I wouldn't want to be labeled. If I was her, I wouldn't want to be labeled anything. Progressive, conservative, liberal, whatever it would be. No. How about North is still North? Wrong is wrong. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. It's all very frustrating. All right. The Healthy Fat. thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Super grateful to this. This is my second today. I had one at the gym already. Mm-hmm.
Drinking it all.
Huh?
Save some for the rest of us.
I have 3 jars of it. Nice try. I love it. And what I like about it is I don't have the ability sitting here for multiple hours to get up and go to the bathroom commonly, right? So if anything starts moving and I'm like, oh, I gotta go, you can't go. So I don't eat really in the morning. I don't eat. I drink some coffee and I drink this, and I'm not hungry until after the show, which is huge for me. It's also huge for you if you're trying to lose weight, which is great about Dr. Gundry's MCT Wellness. So it's a powder. You're already drinking water. Why wouldn't you just throw a scoop of this in your water and then see what happens to you? Because Dr. Gundry lost 70 pounds. And he even warns you when he reaches out and is like, I'd love for you to work with me and try to see if people would be interested in this drink, because he's had great success and he's known thousands of people who've lost significant weight, right? He's like, I'd love for you. It's easy to do. Try it and see what you think. So if you have serious weight to lose, this is one of those things. This isn't just for the casual. It's going to do something special to you. And it says it supports the production of ketones for more energy. That is the ketones, or that's it. That's the secret sauce. Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Try it, lose weight, stave off your hunger, skip a meal every now and again. And it's amazing. You can jumpstart that weight loss process. Let's see. Did my browbeating move the needle? A little bit. We need 80 to get to 2,000 rumbles. That's pretty good.
I guess I'm different. I'm wondering why all the years I've been in the profession, I've never been sexually harassed.
I don't know. Do men get sexually harassed? Have any of you men been sexually harassed? Because women can be nasty too. E. Jean Carroll is an ugly bitch. You're right, Nurse Lisa. Did you hear that stuff coming out that they apparently paid her $10 million to come forward and gave her a New York Times bestselling book? Nobody read that book. She admitted, apparently, now I can't corroborate this, she didn't even meet President Trump. Never met Donald Trump. I don't know. Would you be surprised? Wait, what? It's all been a giant lie? Like the Ukraine phone call? Lie? Oh, that. Sorry, 2 years later, millions and millions of dollars, Donald Trump's first term squandered. Imagine what he would have been able to do.
Wow, Eric DeGrace is a friend of mine, was raped by 2 girls. Do you personally know what it's like to have somebody accuse somebody of
There are just some things that are really hard to escape once it used to be racism. It used to be like that was the scarlet letter, that if you were branded with that, you were done. And then everything was racist, right? Because we needed an excuse for mediocrity or for ineffectiveness or for malfeasance or fraud or just plain stupidness. And so you're racist if you don't like me. And then everything was racist and everyone's like, oh God. And so then everybody got the eye roll. And so now real racism, which does exist, right?
I remember all the stupid videos we had to watch in corporate America about harassment, sexual harassment. You're just like, he makes me feel uncomfortable. He asked me out, and I don't know if it's on a date or he said just colleagues. I'm like, what? Like,
well, first of all, the progressive Generation Z chick is a fruitcake. And everything is meant to become a victim. They need to find meaning to, I don't know, be relevant. So it's to bitch about everything, which means none of us like them. Equals cats. I'm just gonna say, don't email me and be like, I have cats. Don't make fun of cats. Whatever. I don't care.
You can email me. I'll make fun of cats. I have one.
Yes.
Well, Kate has one.
4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to you from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio Program. Nancy Pelosi saying that she knew nothing about Eric Swalwell being a creepy scumbag. It would be like Anthony Fauci saying he knew nothing at all about China, about the Wuhan bat lady, about gain of function research, or about not lying under oath. It's completely preposterous. And anybody with a functioning cerebral cortex knows this. That would be you and that would be me, right? But Nancy Pelosi, no, which is why you always have to see their off-ramp. When the walls really start closing in, pay attention to her feebleosity. She'll all of a sudden be, she won't be able to do stuff, and you'll have to be like, well, she's so old. She's probably going to die soon. Should we really pile on? Hell yeah. I want the flames of hell licking her feet. Yes. The woman is darkness. Look, I think there is a certain kind of personality that is able to navigate the filth of Congress. But I couldn't know that members of Congress were hurting other people or stealing from the American taxpayer. It just wouldn't happen. And I'm hungry for leadership that feels even remotely the same way. So all roads lead back to the boss, and the boss of the crime family syndicate in this instance is Nancy Pelosi. The crime syndicate, the cartel, right? It's Congress. Nancy's the boss. She's the one who's all tatted up. She's got the goods. She knows where the bodies are buried. She's got all of the files, all of the bribery and the blackmail files. She knows exactly who did what to whom and when, who strayed from their partner, who does coke on the side, who does things they shouldn't, who misuses campaign money, and what have you. I'm sure it's even darker and dirtier than that. But it is nice every now and again when somebody like, I don't know, Jonathan Turley, law professor, who agrees with me. He's like, look, it's so beyond offensive now that this thread has been pulled, that the dam is starting to crack and the water is starting to squirt through. It's preposterous to think that Nancy Pelosi hasn't been in charge of all of this at all times. She created Eric Swalwell. Here's Jonathan Turley.
Yeah, I've been one of his most vocal critics for years, and you have Democrats now calling him a monster, but very few people in the establishment or the media want to talk about who created that monster. And the fingerprints are rather obvious. I would include in that list Nancy Pelosi. He actually cited Pelosi as his mentor. She was the one who rescued him in 2020 when the Fang scandal came out, where he's accused of having an affair with a accused Chinese spy. It was Pelosi that intervened and said, I have no concerns about Eric Swalwell. When people said, at least take him off the House Intel Committee, she said no. She actually intervened and said he's going to stay on that committee. And she now says that she had no idea. Well, these allegations have been around for years. He was a loose cannon in Washington, D.C., but he had a purpose. You know, he was that attack dog straining on the leash. And the person holding that leash, I view as Nancy Pelosi.
So law professor Jonathan Turley says Nancy Pelosi rescued Eric Swalwell from that whole Chinese spy honeypot debacle. Why would she do that? Leverage. That gave her leverage. I'm going to resuscitate your political star. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to use my pterodactyl talons and I'm going to wrap them around you. You'll be safe, but you'll be mine. And whatever I want, no matter how stupid, I expect you to be the face of it. Okay. And he did, and he was. And then he decided to run for governor. We didn't ask you to do that, sweetie pie. I just needed an attack dog to go out and say dumb stuff that even Jamie Raskin won't say, right? Adam Schiff, this goes back to the Rosie O'Donnell, who she's shocked. I'm just shocked. I just thought that you were something better, Eric, and your family. I mean, if you're going to put yourself out there and hook, line, and sinker, all of your eggs in that basket, you damn well better do your homework. Adam Schiff. This is Adam Schiff. He lied through his teeth and said he had no idea about Eric Swalwell's sexual deviance. In fact, he endorsed him out of the gates, front and center. He was the first guy, and he put together this snazzy little ad for Eric for California governor.
I know the Golden State will be in good hands with Eric Swalwell, and I hope you'll join me in supporting his campaign. I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm 100% in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in. I'm with Eric Swalwell.
I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. We're in.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm in. I am all in.
You guys get the opportunity to have someone very effective in a position of leadership.
Somebody who's capable, knowledgeable, and experienced.
There's no one more real than Eric Swalwell.
I'm in.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. What about you?
Stupid. You can be in all you want, but you're dumb, and you have that does not age well at all. How's that, Adam? Are you still in on Eric Swalwell, Adam Schiff? I sure hope you're sweating, honey bunny, because I really think more even than Tony Fauci, I want to see Adam Schiff. I want to see his absolute destruction. That's not very Christian. Well, my God will forgive me. Josh Hawley is talking about what we've long suspected, that it's all about the goods. Who's got the goods? Who's got the details to hold over you? Who's got the leverage? It's the cartel boss, Nancy Pelosi, Jesse Waters. He's asking him, is AOC, like, people talking about her as being a presidential candidate? The only way that AOC would be listed that way is if obviously Nancy gave it the green light. Do you think she's got the goods on AOC? Listen.
Let's say AOC. We assume Nancy or Hakeem Jeffries has something on AOC. What do you think that is? And do you think they use it?
Oh, I think they absolutely use it if they've got it. And I think the way that you get it is you just monitor these people just like they did with Swalwell, and you use it for leverage. I mean, there's a reason that they stay in line, again, until they become liabilities. And you're right about Joe Biden. Who got Joe Biden out of the presidential race? Not Joe Biden. It was Nancy Pelosi once again. I mean, she is a power player. She has got more dirt on every member of her party than anybody else, any intelligence agency could ever hope to. And for my money, I say she's still in control over there.
Nancy Pelosi behaves sort of like she is Iran. Like she's the Iranian regime, right? And work with me on this. She's built this shield of missiles and drones. This would be all the dirt that she has on people, right? And then she uses it to run cover for her actual nuclear weapon, which is determining when a member of Congress has outlived their usefulness, right? So she's got the goods. She protects the ultimate chip that she can play, which is determining whether you make it or not. Josh Hawley continues, Nancy knew about Swalwell's alleged rape behavior. Of course she freaking knew about it. She had leverage until she didn't. Listen.
I don't have any doubt about it, Jesse, because he had become a liability. And you pointed out she knew all about this. She was briefed by the FBI back in 2020 that the guy was a target of a Chinese spy, Fang Fang. And by the way, Fang Fang probably got a Medal of Commendation. That's like the worst espionage assignment in the history of the world. But Swalwell fell for it. She knew that he was a liability. She knew he was a problem. She could use it as leverage until it blew up in her face, and now he's gone. And Jesse, this is why Congress needs to pass legislation. I'm introducing it today that would deny pensions to every member of Congress who's convicted of a sex offense. Right now, you could be convicted and still get your pension. The only thing the government ought to be paying for people like Eric Swalwell is a jail cell.
100%, Senator. Here's Stephen A. Smith. He's kind of tapping in a little of the Rosie vibes. He's feeling his own buyer's remorse after having Swalwell on his show. He seemed like such a great guy. Oh, Stephen.
The accusations were enough for Swalwell to go after folks on the right. And now he's facing the same situation. You're the Democrats. This is bad. They were right to sit up there and call for him to cancel his campaign for the gubernatorial seat. It's clearly evident that as a married man, he was looking to get his groove on elsewhere. That much is clear, that he put himself in that position to be perceived as that kind of individual. There is no way around that. And my disgust as a person that had him on a guest on this show is that, bro, you knew what you were doing behind the scenes. Again, I'm not getting into rape, sexual assault allegations. That's extreme. I'm not getting into that. But you knew what was going on behind the scenes in terms of your consensual behavior with other women. Why are you putting yourself front and center when you knew what you were doing? Why?
Do you think I need to explain it? I don't think so, Stephen. I don't think so. I think people begin to feel untouchable until they're not. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, why would every Democrat in the Minnesota State House vote against investigating rampant fraud? Let's think about that for a minute. Maybe we can get the answer next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Okay. I fell in love with Sniper when they came to my house, and I have a machine that shows what the cotton, like if you were to take a cotton swab, sort of like they do at the airport, and they swab something of yours and they put it in a machine and it processes and it's like, you're good. Sort of same thing. So it was an original. Is your house clean, Wendy? I'm like, I think it's pretty clean. I wipe everything off. I'm pretty good about that. So she put a thing on she like did a cotton swab of the countertop in the kitchen and put it in a little whatever. And it came out like crawling with bacteria. I was like, oh, and then she went, and we sat there and she's like, don't even wipe it up. Just let it dry. Just let it dry. A couple minutes later, came back, swabbed the same thing, put it in, and it was like nothing. All the germs, bacteria, all of it gone without even rubbing it, washing it, sponging it off, paper toweling it, leave it, and it works. Sniper. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Greatest product you'll ever have. You're welcome. And, by the way, organic pest control. This is phenomenal. This is unlike anything you've ever had. Things that are going to eat your vegetable garden. Pests that want to nibble on your flowers, right? Don't let it happen. Harmony, 100% organic, isn't going to kill your plants, but it will kill the things that want to kill your plants. And it does so in a very humane, quick way. It literally destroys them from the outside in, just until they go, and then they're gone. Harmony. Yeah, you'll want it. I know you will.
The mosquito stuff's up there now too.
And if if bugs love you like they love me, how you doing?
You don't have to spray. You know what's interesting about
You
it?
can just spray it around you.
Yeah, you don't spray yourself. I mean, you could if you wanted to. You'll smell like garlic, but you just spray like the stuff around you, and it.
I love a smell of garlic.
Yeah, on my food.
No. Love the smell of garlic. Anytime, any place.
Wow.
Right?
Who feels harassed?
Disinfectwithsniper.com. That was harassing. It's going to eliminate odors, keep surfaces from harboring bacteria, fungi, viruses. There's no reason not to get disinfectwithsniper.com. I get to go pick out my shingles Monday.
Ooh.
Ireland Contracting. They called me. They're like, have you picked out your shingles? I'm like, no, I just heard 50,000. That's all. That's where I stopped. I haven't moved past that.
Do you need help? I think you should get the Midnight Plum.
Well, I have to
Or
go
the
see.
bourbon.
I want to go see. So I have to take pictures of the house, pictures of the brick and the trim and all that stuff so we can match the right color. So I wonder if bourbon is going to be a better color. So I'm kind of excited. Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Look, I don't just tell you that they're great. I go to them and I got a second opinion, and the second opinion was more and concurred with all of Gary's things. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Yes.
I think we might have to have people decide for you.
Oh. You want video program. We're going to quickly go up to Minnesota, to the House there, where the state lawmakers yesterday had an opportunity to set the record straight and move the pendulum in the correct direction. Rampant fraud, waste, and abuse. Whistleblowers alerting Tim Walz as far back as 2019 and blowing in Attorney General Keith Ellison. Turned a blind eye. Whistleblowers punished. Retribution against them. Revenge. It's disgusting. We're going to talk about that in greater detail coming up. So yesterday, every Democrat in the Minnesota House voted against impeaching Tim Walz. And they voted against investigating fraud. Look, if you suck, I don't care if you're a Republican. If you're not doing your job and you're supposedly in some position of power and we're in the same party, I'm going to call you out. Got to call you out. So this impeachment resolution failed. A resolution to initiate impeachment proceedings against Walz and Ellison, accused by the Republicans of failing to prevent widespread fraud. Well, it failed on a tie vote in the House Rules and Administration Committee, with all Democrats voting no. Then there was a bill yesterday to create an Office of Inspector General. Why wouldn't we want to create a nonpartisan officer who looks at all of the evidence and determines where we're going from here? Minnesota's a flawed state. We need to fix it. Yeah, Democrats all voted against that too. Sorry. How about the Fraud Isn't Free Act vote? House Democrats on the State Government Finance and Policy Committee voted against requiring state employees to report fraud. Why ever would that happen? Because you're obviously needing the fraud to stay afloat. President Trump cut the head off the snake. First, they tackled USAID with Doge, dismantled that. Bye-bye. That was a huge, huge revenue source. And then they went after Act Blue. Uh-oh. It's like all we've got left is stealing from all of these welfare and social services programs. I want you to hear this gentleman. He's a Republican state representative in Minnesota. His name is Mike Weiner. This is him before the vote. He's like, look, everybody knows that this governor is compromised. He's incompetent. He's a moron, and he chose to do nothing when whistleblowers repeatedly went to him and said, there's a major problem with fraud in this state. Here is Republican state representative from Minnesota, Mike Weiner.
Evidence presented in legislative and congressional investigations show that billions in taxpayer funds were lost through fraud in Minnesota social services programs. Oversight systems failed repeatedly under executive leadership. Federal investigation and lawmakers have estimated up to $9 billion in fraud across multiple programs administered by the state. This represents not a minor administrative lapse, but a systematic breakdown in governance.
$9 billion lost in taxpayer dollars to just 14 Medicaid programs under Tim Walz's administration. And yet yesterday, every single Democrat in the Rules Committee voted to block an investigation into that fraud, and every single Democrat voted to block the impeachment of Tim Walz. Make that make sense. This gentleman, State Representative Republican Mike Weiner, continues and says, you know what? The word nonfeasance, are you familiar with that? It means the failure to act despite repeated warnings of fraud. This governor is guilty.
Impeachment is not about public disagreement. It's about breach of duty, failure of leadership, loss of public trust. And when the governor knows of widespread fraud, fails to act, and allows retaliation against those who speak out, that meets the constitutional threshold for impeachment. H.R. 6 is about restoring accountability. The question before this committee is simple. Did the governor fulfill his duty to protect taxpayers' dollars? Did he uphold the law? Did he respond appropriately to credible warnings? Based on the evidence, whistleblower testimony, and documented failures, the answer is no.
The answer is no, of course, to everyone in Realville. And yet every Democrat in the Minnesota State House voted against impeaching Tim Walz. It's almost laughable. You're going to hear a whistleblower from that state describe what happened when she tried to blow the alarm, ring the alarm. What happened to her? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Sound the alarm, I tried to say. So here's this guy. He's like, look, we know all of this. We listened to all this testimony. We've had these whistleblowers come in. You heard what we heard, Democrats. And you're going to say, no, he's an effective governor. He shouldn't be yanked before November. Really? Really? Stephen A. Smith, what do you think about that, Sweetie Bug? Hey, Rosie, what do you think about that? What do you think about that? I know what I think about that. Health Revolution, info.healthrevolution.net. I'm tired of being told I have to get something. I was listening to Sirius XM radio on the way in today. I have it. It's part of my car. I don't know why I have it. Nothing on it is worthwhile. I flipped through 7,000 channels. None of them is worth listening to. What are we doing? It's like you being stuck in an all size, all fits all kind of health insurance policy. That's not how it works. Because what you need if you're 38 years old and self-employed is different than somebody who's, 60 and is nearing the end of their work life. You need different things, right? And that is why Health Revolution, that's literally the name of this company, Health Revolution. And their goal is to get people who have insurance that is overpriced, unaffordable, and doesn't meet their needs, to give them the policy that they need that does work. Why should we lose so much of our money to a system that's meant to be broken? That's Health Revolution. There's no like open enrollment period that you have to hurry up and get all of your documents ready. Now it's anytime you want, all day, any day. 1-800-868-6187. info.healthrevolution.net. And what does he say? Tom, our friend. Well, you can save between 30 and 60% on what you're already paying. No copays. No copays. You go to the doctor and they don't ask for $25. It's kind of nice, right? How about low deductibles? You're not going to have to pay $8,000 out of your pocket before insurance kicks in. That's preposterous. The Democrats screwed you with that. That's not how this works. For most families, this is going to be hundreds of dollars a month back in your pocket. So if you're self-employed, paying for your own coverage, you're on Cobra, or you're just done overpaying and you're under the age of 65. That's a big caveat here. Under the age of 65, Health Revolution will custom design a plan built around your life. info.healthrevolution.net. When he called me and told me about it, I'm like, yes, I want that. Right? What are you sending me? I just bonked my elbow. Ouch. Wow. You guys remember the woman who got hammered to death outside of the Florida gas station? The Haitian guy who hit her with a hammer and bludgeoned her to death. It was the most horrifying thing I've seen. The resolution blocking President Trump from deporting 350,000 Haitians has passed the House. 7 Republicans voted for it. I want to know who.
Guaranteed Brian.
So Brian Fitzpatrick. I'm going to say Nicole Maliotakis. I'm going to say...
Yes.
Hold on.
Don
Carlos Jimenez.
Yes.
Hold on. I don't know.
Don Bacon.
He's a loser from Nebraska.
Mike Lawler. From New York.
Mike, you suck. Who got to you, dude?
And your girl, Representative Maria.
Oh, Salazar.
Salazar.
Same people who want to
just give amnesty.
Yeah, they want to do the amnesty bill for everybody. See, you're forced to see who these people are. Forced to see who they are. And meantime, did you see what's his face is not pleased with Robert De Niro? Robert De Niro is apparently not pleased with Zoran Mamdani. I know. It's a shocker. I never knew why that would be. Because now he's going after people, the rich, who've got second homes that are $5 million or more. If you have more to afford a second home, you have more to give to our taxes. Really? How about you stop spending like ass clowns? Makes sense to me. Bloodflow7.com. I used it today, and my trainer, Mary Beth, decided to be a little devious. She thought she would see how far she could go.
Did you tell her you used it?
No, but I use it every single day. And so up, my weights go. Up. Today, she thought I would have fun doing pull-ups. Now, my pull-ups are kind of cheaty because I can use my feet. So there's a bar and a bench under the bar, and I'm holding onto the bench, but I'm straddling the bar with my feet up on it behind me. Think about that. So I'm sitting on it, but my feet are behind me, and I'm grabbing onto the bar. So you can kind of push with your toes. Push with your toes and go like that. Yeah, I used to not be able to do that, but thanks to bloodflow7.com/Wendy, now all of a sudden I'm supposed to do that commonly. Thanks, Juvenon, for that. More blood flow equals more strength, more stamina, more focus, better performance. You start feeling better. You start doing more. You start feeling young again. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. This is it. This is my secret sauce. And it's affordable, less than $1 a day. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So, on the heels now of 7 Republicans in the House voting alongside Democrats to sink a bill, or to allow a bill to pass, rather, that would stop President Trump from deporting 350,000 Haitians who like to eat cats and hammer people outside of Florida convenience stores and bludgeon them to death. Right? On the heels of that, we've got to talk about what happens if you're one of those people in one of these blue states that's just consumed by lousy, corrupt government. And you happen to be one of those people who's not like that. You believe in telling the truth. You're moved by the idea of your civic duty. And according to this one woman, whose name is Faye Bernstein, she was a Democrat who worked in the Minnesota House or Minnesota government, or was it Michigan? Let me see. I think it's Minnesota. Minnesota. She worked in Minnesota in the state government there. And she started realizing, seeing some things are coming across her desk. She's got to approve some of these payments, some of these things that are happening. And she's like, wait a minute, this seems very fraudulent. What's going on here? Our expenses are going up. I'm supposed to be approving these things. And she was like, I don't think what's going on is what's supposed to be going on. And so she blew the whistle. She had a couple supervisors. There's several supervisors she could turn to. And she's like, you know what? I got a question about some of these payments that are coming across my desk and I'm supposed to be approving it. It doesn't seem like it makes sense. It's bigger than it used to be. And I'm not so sure this is an actual real corporation that's getting money from the government. And she was basically told to shut up and let it happen. And she got, I guess, annoying enough as she was trying to blow the whistle and do the right thing that she basically was retaliated against. And here she is testifying before this Minnesota State Commission about what it's like to try to do the right thing and what happens when the Democrat machine comes after you. And it's awful. She was a state employee for 20 years, Faye Bernstein. She said she first started noticing the fraud about 7 years ago, so 2019, about the time that, Tim Walz was taking office as governor. She went and she tried to blow the whistle. Telling the truth and blowing that whistle about fraud gets you permanently burned. Apparently with a scarlet letter, she said. I want you to hear her testimony, part of it.
Messenger gets shot. I became a very unpopular person amongst leadership there. And the retaliation in the smear campaign is strong. I was called everything from incompetent to a favorite is racist. You people who speak about fraud at state agencies, the first thing that leadership goes to is racism. And that is very hard to take. It is humiliating. It is career killing, obviously. Who is going to hire someone who is considered racist?
So she's been called racist because she's calling out the Somalian fraud ring that's ripping off the Minnesota taxpayers and you and myself too. She's called racist for blowing the whistle on that. It's stunning. It's stunning when that smack hits your face. It's particularly stunning when there's nothing even remotely about you that's racist in your whistleblowing. And you know that. She was stunned. She couldn't believe it. She said, you know what? We had 3 company people. You go into the break room and it has union rules and different things, updates. If you have a problem, there are 3 people you can report to. Call us. We want your call. We want to work with you. We want to make sure you're a happy state employee. Call this person, or that person. Wait until you hear what this young lady, Faye Bernstein, a state employee for 20 years and a registered Democrat, says when she decided to go to those 3 higher-ups to report the Somalian fraud that was robbing from the Minnesota people, stealing from them blind.
So at some point in that period of time in 2019, there was a poster put up at the agency, and it had 3 names on it. It was one of those posters that was sort of that, if you see something, say something kind of thing. And there was 3 names on the poster that we were to contact if we had concerns about fraud, waste, or abuse. And so I was working with those 3 people. And over the next year, those 3 people really made my life about as miserable as it could be. That was a period where my son was young. He's a teenager now, he's with me. But he was young at that time, and I used to sit on the front step of my house and cry because I didn't want him to see me cry. Because you don't want a young kid to see that.
You know, she had her wake up 7 years ago when they started knives outing her. She's gone through it. She's processed the pain. And yet it still grabs you and makes you choke. I understand that feeling. Rosie O'Donnell got a little taste of it. Stephen A. Smith, maybe a little bit bigger serving with Eric Swalwell. Tasting that what you believed in, what you thought was going on, wasn't at all what was going on. And the people that you thought you could trust, that you thought were good people, were quite the opposite. And the minute you decided to say something, they went after you. That's what happened to this lady. She said, let me tell you what these 3 people did to me, simply because I believe North is still North.
Let me just talk about those 3 names. One is our ethics officer in the agency I work at. She called me to tell me that if I spoke in front of the legislative committee, that I would likely be fired. So that's our ethics officer. Then our, at that time, chief compliance officer, now our commissioner, she had me involuntarily transferred to a different position to get me out of where I was. She called me on a Saturday along with our HR representative and told me that when I returned to work the next week that I had a new job. And I said, do I have any choice? And the answer was no, it's this or nothing. And the third person on that list, who was our director of auditing, so he's an auditor, he completely outed me. I reported fraud to him, and what he did is call up the person I was reporting on and said, Faye Bernstein just told me da-da-da-da about you, just completely outed me, which, as you can imagine, led to more of me crying on my front step.
This is what's going on. You guys, you're working what, 1, 2, 3 jobs? You're doing whatever you can to provide for your family, to be a good person, to look out for your neighbors, to pay your bills, to do your fair share. You're trying to raise your kids with the right values, the right morals. You believe in basic things, all American things. It's not complicated. And this is the crap that you have to run up against. Yes, this is everywhere. This is everywhere. This is the machine. This is the machine that gets thousands of people to work in concert to steal an election, and nobody says a damn word about it. Why? Because the machine will come after you. This brings up, when are we going to have an honest conversation about what really happened in 2020? Because that's exactly what it was. And I'm going to pivot now. I want to go to OAN. OAN, One America News, takes us to Michigan. And these are the stories that we here on the right have been telling from the very beginning. And we've gone through what Faye freaking Bernstein went through. They shut us down. I'm still permanently banned from YouTube. Brock couldn't even get a YouTube page because he's affiliated with me. Why? Because we dug around and shared with you some contradictory information from the CDC's own website during a freaking once-in-a-lifetime global pandemic that they tried to use so they could steal an election. And they did, and it's coming out. Michigan. It's not just a rounding error. It's not just a missing zero. It's flipping votes from Trump to Biden. And they knew it. Thousands upon thousands of votes. Ladies and gentlemen, if Eric Swalwell and all these other dirtbags are going to go down, if we're going to have an honest conversation about the Congress being a freaking crime syndicate, then this story has to come out. It has to be on every single front page. It has to be told. This is OAN in Michigan, where we've known for how long what really happened.
Another example of apparent voter fraud comes from Michigan as well, where GOP chairwoman Laura Cox reported Friday that some 6,000 votes cast for Donald Trump were instead given to Joe Biden. Election officials claim the glitch was really just a user error, but that means that tampering with the outcome of the election is as easy as one person changing the results. And this one quote-unquote error had a significant impact on the election. Before it was discovered, the error flipped a reliably Republican county, giving it to Biden. That glitch also gave Democrat Melanie Hartman a victory in Michigan's Oakland County 15th Commission District, when it was actually won by Republican Adam Kochendorfer. And when people in Michigan began using the state's official website to check for dead voters, that government website was mysteriously shut down. That's cause for alarm because as of Michigan's primary this August, there were at least 847 dead people registered to vote. And 4 of those who were recorded as voting were born before 1902, making them older than the oldest human alive today. After receiving numerous complaints, the website has since been restored, though no explanation has ever been given for why it was blocked in the first place.
Dancing around. We have no idea why. Why was a website that would allow you to check if people were dead or not? Why would they take that down? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because they don't want you to know how many people are dead voting in our elections, right? Remember who worked for OAN at this time? Christina Bobb. She was exposing all the Arizona filth. They went after her. They criminally indicted her. She's had to pay how many legal bills over this? Because she was a journalist who dared to do what Faye Bernstein did and explain what she discovered. Shh, don't do that. Yeah, right. In the second part of this OAN story, I just thought it would be cool to just share this with you. Because in the West, 2020 saw ghost voters, ballot drops by DNC workers, illegal voting, poll worker fraud. But I'm sure other than that, everything was totally perfect.
Across the country in Nevada, a whistleblower with the Clark County Elections Department has submitted a sworn affidavit claiming poll workers were fabricating proof of residence so that illegal aliens could vote in the election. This follows an announcement from Matt Schlapp that some 9,000 ballots were cast in the state from residents who no longer live in Nevada, making them all illegal. Witnesses apparently backed that up with reports of a van marked Biden-Harris unloading boxes of ballots to a counting center in Nevada, with the ballots apparently being filled out and the envelopes resealed. But none of this should come as a surprise, as Judicial Watch announced in October that some 350 counties across 29 states had nearly 2 million more registered voters than eligible voting age citizens.
Why would you ever vote Democrat again? I just don't understand. Bullying, threats, election fraud, illegals voting. Oh my God. It's almost like we've been talking about this for 6 years. Do you think something finally is going to change? Huh. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, Peter Doocy asks Caroline Leavitt a question in the White House press briefing. Why are 10 scientists affiliated with NASA dead? She didn't really know about it. What? Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I was surprised by that.
I don't have a Peter Doocy.
No, it's okay. There was really nothing to play about it because she's like, I've heard a little bit about that, but we haven't done anything. We don't know. We haven't talked to anybody. I'm like, this goes to show everybody really is in their own silos. So the things that you and I talk about on this program might honestly be, to Caroline Leavitt, kind of news. She just, I don't know. I don't know that. It's wild. It's definitely wild. Texas Bullion Exchange, WendyLovesGold.com, WendyLovesGold.com. I'm going to bring in some gold tomorrow, maybe. Maybe on Monday, I'll wait. Touch some gold for you, entice you with it. There's something about having gold. It's pretty snazzy, I got to say. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium. I don't know what the price is right now. Let's see if we can get into it. Wendy Loves Gold. WendyLovesGold.com. We'll see where the markets are right now, where the numbers are. It's not loading very quickly on my computer, but I can tell you, if you've ever considered perhaps getting gold or silver or platinum or palladium, and you want to know how that works, is it complicated? Is it expensive? Yeah, it can be. But if you have an IRA, it's very easy to get gold into your portfolio without you spending a single dollar. Now, if you have extra money, if you've not extra money, but if you have money and you're sitting on it and it's making nothing for you, then why wouldn't you want it to work for you and go like this in the value charts? Because that's what it does. 855-927-5557. You're going to get that exact gold buying guide right there. They're going to answer all your questions. Plus that phone number, 855-927-5557. That's ours. That's our phone number with Texas Bullion Exchange, WendyLovesGold.com. They want you to call. They want to answer your questions. They want to send you one of these wealth preservation guides. It gives you all of the details, and they guarantee your purchase. You will never sell your gold, silver, platinum, or palladium back to Wendy Loves Gold, Texas Bullion Exchange, for less than you bought it for. For less than you bought it. 855-927-5557. I've bought from them twice. Is this a gang sign? Sorry. Twice. And I will do it again. It's very easy. Plus, it's nice to not have everything in the stock market or underneath your, mattress. A little more confidence in that. Did it get cold in there? Yes. I've been sitting on my shirt, so it's all wrinkled. Sorry, guys. How excited are you to get a haircut? Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited. Today is our big haircut day. No.
Barring any circumstances.
There will be no circumstances. You will not be allowed to have circumstances. No interruptions. 2.26. Okay. We're coming up on the last hour of the program. So if we could get 250 people to click that button, the thumbs up button, we'll be on our way to 2,500. And if we could hit 3, that would be hugely triumphant today. So thank you. Demand is quoting me. No circumstances, Brock. Yeah, so where are we with that? Did the Supreme Court just say something about voting? Didn't they just say something about elections
I don't
where
think
it's
they have said anything.
They seem
say
poised.
they're poised to make it one day.
What's going on with you guys? Let's see what our numbers are with our comments. You guys are killing it on the comments. 354. Holy Moses. That's pretty awesome. Thank you. There we go. I've got this thing sticking out. Nobody tells me these things until I look at the camera. Okay. Anywho. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I was listening to the White House press briefing yesterday, and we had Scott Bessent was there. He was talking for a while. Kelly Loeffler from the Small Business Administration. They were talking about taxes and other things. Also talking about President Trump's blockade in the Strait of Hormuz and how now they're literally they're launching an operation on the economics of Iran, and it's working. There's only so long Iran can go and lose hundreds of millions of dollars a day in oil proceeds and continue to survive. It's just not going to be feasible. So after militarily destroying them, President Trump is bringing Iran to their knees financially. It's very interesting. But during this conference, Peter Doocy from Fox News asks Caroline Leavitt, look, there's now 10 researchers or scientists who are studying either with NASA or in other capacities, these unidentified alien phenomenon, whatever it is, UAPs. It's not what it stands for, but that you get the gist. And is the White House looking into these mysterious deaths? And this is where it hit me that, of course, they're busy. Of course, Caroline Leavitt's got a million things going on. She's not maybe paying attention to this. God, why? And she said, look, I've heard a few headlines about this, but to be honest, no, we've not talked to the relevant institutions about this. And this is unfortunately bad news for Anna Paulina Luna, because she's the dog on a bone. She has become the fighter of the Republican Party. She is out there in everybody's faces on all of these things. And she says, look, we have decades of evidence in the National Archives, decades dating back to the 1950s, maybe even earlier than that, 19 teens, where people have very strong accountings of alien encounters, whether it's a spacecraft that has reportedly crashed in their field and they're going up and seeing it and there are photographs of it and all this stuff. Anna Paulina Luna was like, look, you guys have until April 14th. And she was saying this to the Pentagon. There are like 46 different videos or things that should be declassified, that should be made public so the American people can once and for all start talking honestly about other life. It's not just us. And it's not just other life. It's intelligent life that's perhaps far more intelligent than we. And I want you to hear, this is a gentleman, his name is Dan Farah, and he was on with Bret Baier at Fox News. And apparently he is the director of this new film called Age of Disclosure. And Dan Farah was telling Bret Baier, look, there's at least an 80-year cover-up on the existence of non-human intelligent life. And perhaps the reason for that cover-up has to do with energy. Whatever spaceships have crashed on Earth, and you're going to think I'm crazy if you're not down with this, but I'm not crazy because it exists. There are more than 1,000 documented encounters with either spacecraft, biological material, which would be extraterrestrial stuff. And we know that our government has been analyzing and examining these spacecraft because what they do completely transcends how we envision energy. This is Dan Farah, the director of the new film Age of Disclosure, talking about this with Bret Baier.
There's been an 80-year cover-up of the existence of non-human intelligent life and elements.
And there's no doubt in your mind, like as you have gone through this, and now you've seen the reaction of the film. There's no doubt in your mind.
Yeah. I mean, too many extremely senior members of the military, intelligence community, the government, folks who have had access to classified information about this, they've all been extremely definitive when they say that the evidence exists, that we are not alone in the universe, that there is other intelligent life, and that it has been covered up.
And part of the effort is not only a concern about national security, but also this reverse engineering part of this that Secretary Rubio, others, Senator Rounds have talked about. We have a clip from the documentary.
This is the biggest discovery in human history. It has so many beneficial impacts, including clean energy.
This one breakthrough can be the key to interstellar travel.
We can talk more about teleportation.
How can we use these technologies and all the capabilities that might come from it, not to fight a war, but to increase our standard of living?
It's hard to get your head around all of this, but that's a big part of it.
Yeah. Look, these UAP are displaying flight performance characteristics that we don't have the ability to do currently. The technology being displayed could completely revolutionize the way we live if we can crack it. And so a big part of the drive for disclosure is to bring about this technological progress that could revolutionize the way we live.
Revolutionize the way we live and also bankrupt some industries and render them obsolete. Might that be a reason why so many of these scientists have disappeared? When we come back, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, Trump squeezing Iran financially. Next. That's it. Right? I mean, if there are things such as medical beds, med beds, and there are, and they're around for years, there's a cure for cancer. There's a cure for everything that ails you. It might not be right here, right now, or it might be. But what happens to Big Pharma? What happens to all of the medicines that they're desperate for you to get, which is all dollar signs? It changes fundamentally everything. And so, why the slow walk of these unidentified alien phenomenon or whatever? Why would you want to keep that quiet? We don't want to cause a panic. I'm going to say that a dude being shot on his patio, on his front deck, in the middle of nowhere is cause for panic, right? And what we've heard overarchingly is these little green men or whatever the biological material is from these aliens, that they're the good guys, that we're the bad guys. That's what's going on here. It's wild. I believe it.
Well,
I got to go potty.
I mean, at this point, once again, how many times do you have to say it? I believe everything. I don't know if we're the bad guys, what she says. I've heard podcasts and people who do dives on that say that when it comes to the extraterrestrial, there's good and bad, and that the good feels we're good, that we're not evil. Apparently, they don't know who Nancy Pelosi is, but even so, I mean, I've always said, did I buy in? I never really thought about it, to be fair with you, but like, if this is the most intelligent life form, I mean, come on now. There has to be something. We use 10% of our brain. There has to be something out there that uses 100%. You know, I don't know. Something nice about not knowing, but it's definitely interesting to talk about. It's interesting to think. And Caroline Lovett, you know, I'm a huge supporter of this administration, but they've talked about it. If Peter Ducey's asking the question, if you think that they haven't had discussions about it, you're just being willfully stupid. Actually, it takes what you've been saying to your kids all these years. Don't get abducted by aliens, to a
Right.
whole new level.
I mean, I thought about the other day. It's such a throwaway line for me because it's a joke, but
Not anymore.
I don't know how much of a joke it is, right? How's everybody? Sorry. This hair is just out of control. All right. So think about it. The number one thing I've heard about the alien stuff is all about this reverse engineering. So people, have you guys been following Greg Phillips from True the Vote? He was with Catherine Engelbrecht. Isn't that her name? Engelbrecht? Catherine, I forget. But they were the ones behind so much of the information that led to 2000 Mules or what have you. And he says he's teleported. He's like, yeah, I've, and he's said some wild stuff, and people are like, shh, you know, everybody's treated kooky that way. You're a kook, kind of like you're a racist. If you call out fraud in Minnesota, oh, they're gonna come for you. And you're like, what? What are you talking about? Yeah. So, like, do you guys believe right now? Because I do, that everything that ails us is man-made, right? Like the freaking virus in the Wuhan bat lab. Like, I wish that I could get a med bed for my friend Attila, who's had more infections and more problems as a quadriplegic. And they should be given to you. And can you imagine? I always wondered that. How many times have you heard somebody like, well, thank God my appendix burst, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't know that I had such and such cancer. And you're like, what? And it's like, why don't we do one of these things where, I don't know, you get everybody in America gets a full body scan once a year. Zzzt. And we can identify early on the beginnings of disease. Well, why would we do that? We want the disease because the disease creates need for medicine. And the medicine is the money. Without the medicine, there's no hospital. The doctors aren't making all of their cash. I mean, how many doctors made millions of dollars by forcing their patients to all get vaccinated? A lot. So of course, there's not going to be anything proactive that's good for you and your well-being, because you being sick, you struggling, you being a victim of something is a grift. Somebody's going to ride in on their white horse and save you.
Just think what you're doing.
It's the sanctimonious do-goodery of idiocy. It's what it is. What?
Different types of medicine to be able to not have pain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's stuff out there already that the medical field won't cover.
Yeah, why aren't you covering that stuff that works? And yet you're not covering stuff. Why are you not covering stuff that works and you are covering stuff that doesn't?
Yeah, your back hurts, here's some drugs. Well,
Yeah.
you're not fixing it.
No. I don't get it. It's all very complicated, and yet it's not. It's all very simple when you pay attention to it. Do I have like one big curl that's sticking right now?
No.
You didn't even know what I was going to say.
You have one curl sticking out.
No.
Am I wrong?
Maybe.
That'd be a no.
I don't know.
Fake news.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family. She once hosted a 3-hour show in just 15 minutes. She once intimidated the Electoral College to audit itself. Her monologues are so sharp, they're considered a concealed carry weapon. Fact-checker sites routinely issue her a retraction a week in advance. Even her commercial breaks trend on social media. Her freedom of speech has diplomatic immunity. She doesn't just drain the swamp has to ask for cab fare. Wendy Bell is the most interesting conservative woman on radio. Keep rumbling, my friends. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program is live. Have you guys heard about Operation, what are they calling it? Economic Fury. Operation Economic Fury. I love the people who are coming out of the woodwork saying, we should never have gone into Iran. We should have never done this stuff. Oh my gosh, what's going on? The gas prices are ridiculous. I was sitting at the gas pump yesterday and people were around me and nobody was complaining about the cost. I don't know. Maybe people just weren't bitching about it at the time, or maybe the majority of people understand that President Trump did something fundamentally unique and precious for the rest of the planet. He neutralized a nightmare. That's it. See, I'm not so worried all the time about the evil in front of me. It's the stuff that pretends not to be, that scares me. Iran was evil. The regime evil. The way they murder people indiscriminately. It's extreme. It's dark. And you've got to look in the mirror and say, if you're supporting Iran and wishing for America to lose, who are you? What happened to you? And why are you still here? Because it seems like you ought not be here. Scott Bessent dropped some information yesterday. I thought it was very interesting. It kind of like a 1-2 punch. So we're going to decimate Iran's military. We're going to destroy their navy. We're going to destroy all of their missile launchers, the drones. We're going to take out their arsenal, their way of transporting things. We're going to level everything we can. And then we're going to go after them with the same kinetic strike fiscally. We're going to go after how they make money. They don't have money. Money's not coming in because oil isn't moving for Iran. Economic fury targets illicit oil smuggling network run. This is what the Department of the Treasury is saying. Today, the Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control intensified pressure on Iran's illicit oil transportation infrastructure by sanctioning more than 24 individuals, companies, and vessels operating within the network of Iranian oil shipping magnate Mohammed Hossein Shahmani, the son of now deceased senior Iranian security official Ali Shamkhani. All right, so why does that matter to you? It's one thing when your homeland has been pulverized and your military is neutralized and the regime that's in charge has been completely hamstrung. It's another thing when you can't access your dough. Now you're just like every other Iranian citizen who doesn't have access to squat. You can't get food. You can't get medicine. There is no internet. Nobody's able to share what's going on there. And this president and this secretary of the Treasury have honed in on a very significant fact. Without money, people can't survive. I want you to hear Scott Bessent. He said, look, Iran petulantly firing rockets at its Persian Gulf neighbors and its Middle Eastern neighbors has pissed off all of these countries now. And these countries have come to us and they're like, we're going to help you. If these 20 Iranian leaders and their money, they try to go through our countries, yeah, you can flag it, you can freeze it, you can prevent it from going to them. This is the ultimate choke point for the Iranian regime. Listen.
Yeah, I think that's not a correct characterization. Yesterday, we announced Operation Economic Fury, and we, for over a year, we have had maximum pressure on the Iranians, both on blocking payments into the Iranian state and going after the accounts of the IRGC. One of what may prove to be fatal mistakes that the Iranians made was bombing their GCC neighbors, and who are now willing to be much more transparent in terms of the funds or do a deeper dive in investigating the funds that are held within their banking systems. So we have pushed out to them the request that we want to freeze more funds of the leadership of the IRGC and any members of Iranian leadership. The other thing that we have done is we have told countries that if you are buying Iranian oil, that if Iranian money is sitting in your banks, we are now willing to apply secondary sanctions, which is a very stern measure. And the Iranians should know that this is going to be the financial equivalent of what we saw in the kinetic activity.
You know, and what he says in the kinetic activity, Operation Epic Fury, Operation Economic Fury is the second part of that, strangle holding the finances. You know, what Donald Trump is doing with leverage is really no different than what Nancy Pelosi does to control the members of Congress. Now, she's operating as a crime boss, and President Trump, I believe, is operating as the CEO of the greatest corporation in the world called America. So it's different in that way, but it's all about leverage. That's how you make deals. We all know this. You have to negotiate, you have to get to the table. But if you've got a Trump card, if you've got the chips, if you've got leverage, you can make your opponent do things they don't want to do, clearly, and everybody knows this. Nancy Pelosi gets video of people in Congress doing things they ought not be doing. Things that maybe are criminal, things that perhaps are adulterous, things that are just not stuff that they would like the general public to know. And she uses that in her own way to get everybody in line. And so the Democrats all vote one way. Why? That's why. Right? President Trump and all of the tariffs and whatnot, that was the ultimate leverage card. We're going to control certain things. We're going to control your ability to sell stuff in our country. You've been able to do it for free, essentially. No tariffs. while there's been a disproportionate tariff on Americans selling American goods in other countries. That ends now. And if you want to squawk about it, that's cool. We don't have to do trade with you at all. China's on the freeze of that. China is getting the play that the Iranian regime, the straggling members are getting as well. We're going to choke you out. We're going to call your bluff, and we're going to choke you out. And you're going to have nowhere else to go except to cry uncle, to take a knee, wave a flag, and get to the table and stop being such jerks about it. So Discern Report, love it, has a headline today. Trump's blockade is breaking Iran, and European elites are angry. Trump sees the problem. He goes in and he fixes it. You want to terrorize the Strait of Hormuz? You want to put out mines and threaten safe passage of other vessels, namely oil vessels? Okay, I'll call your bluff. We'll go clean up all of those, and then I'm going to absolutely crush you. You will not be able to spend $1 anywhere. It's like being on a blacklist. You're now done. You're on a burn notice, essentially. I want to get down to some of these propaganda things that are being pushed that I found very interesting about this whole coverage of what's happening with Iran. The same way that whistleblowers are being penalized and stories are being convoluted, the coverage of this Iran conflict has been terrible at best. And I think that it's important to address some of the lies and the disinformation being spread by the propagandists and foreign agents online about this U.S. blockade protecting safe passage of oil vessels and other vessels that aren't related to Iran through the Strait of Hormuz. The first one, that the U.S. is blocking all ships traveling through the strait. That's false. U.S. is only blocking ships coming from Iranian ports. All other ships have been allowed to pass without incident. This lie is being spread by disinformation agents all over social media and is being spread by foreign governments from the UK to France to China. It says a lot about the true agenda of those countries, given that they said little or nothing about Iran locking down the strait. It's number one. Number two, lie number two, the Chinese vessels have broken the blockade and that the U.S. is afraid of them. Well, nope, that's not true either. All Chinese vessels coming from Iranian ports have been turned away, and any vessels coming from alternative ports have been allowed to pass. At this time, this article that I'm reading is being published. Only one ship from an Iranian port has allegedly slipped through the blockade. That the story on that ship might be fabricated, but we don't know, right? You're getting a lot of bad intel. How about lie number three? That U.S. naval ships are at serious risk because of this blockade that President Trump has ordered. It's actually the opposite. U.S. ships have no need to traverse the narrow Hormuz Strait to blockade it. All they have to do is to wait outside of it and turn back Iranian tankers that approach. No mines, no missiles, no drones, no tiny attack boats. Nothing Iran has the ability to deploy has much of a chance of harming the U.S. Navy. Lie number four, that Iran is used to sanctions and can hold out longer than the United States. No, they can't. Only 7% of energy exports going to the U.S. travel through this strait. Iran's entire economy hangs by a thin thread, and that thread is oil exports to countries like China or Vietnam. Iran is reportedly losing around $430 million every single day that their ships remain stuck in the strait. And they've already taken around $270 billion in infrastructure damages. They're not going to recover. And finally, lie number five, Iran has alternative ways to bypass this blockade. They don't. Everything has been destroyed, ladies and gentlemen. President Trump holds all the cards. And for anybody out there belly aching about it, what side are you on? Pete Hegseth said that to the media this morning. What side are you on? Because it sounds like an awful lot of you are rooting against America. When we go back on the Wendy Bell radio program, hold the line, Mr. President. Apparently, there's a new poll about Republicans. Do we like what this president is doing? Or should you believe that fake news on the other side too? Next. Apparently, President Trump is talking outside the White House right now. He says a deal with Iran is looking very good. Exactly. You can only have nothing for so long, right? Where are you going to go to get what you need? I don't know. Are you stretching?
Yeah.
What's hurting?
My knee.
Your knee. Oh, because you bonked it. You must have really hit it. Where?
On the side.
No, but where? Oh, right here. Look at you trying to get a little snippy with me. I saw the little snip. Yeah. It's okay. I didn't do it.
I didn't say you did.
Well, you acted as though you were a little snippy with me. All right, whatever.
Stop harassing me.
WendyLovesGold.com. Gold is down $12.30 to $47.90. Silver is down to $78. That's still double what we paid for it.
More than double.
I love that I just caught him being snippy. It's so great. It's almost like I grew up with it and can identify it real quick. You must have really hit it. He went like, yeah. Did you or did you not? Did you or did you not?
I just went.
Oh, your interpretation of it's a little more watered down.
A little bit.
Kind of like I'd heard rumors that he was raping women, but I didn't really think it was happening.
Goodness.
I think everything's connected. We can draw parallels between everything, can't we? Okay, More Gains Fitness. More Gains Fitness. Saturday's the day. The Richland location. Western Pennsylvania. 4 locations, More Gains Fitness. But this is the one that's going to have the big celebration. They're going to have food trucks. They're going to have activities. They're going to have classes every single hour on the hour. The gym is open and free for you to use. Bring a friend. They're going to have all sorts of membership specials. They even have bourbon. What? Bourbon and beer and food. That's how I like to exercise. Moregainsfitness.com, MORGAINZ fitness.com. If you go for no other reason than to get a discounted membership, I think that would be so worth your time. So worth your time. You'll love it. Love exercising around good people who don't suck, who are interested in your health and well-being. We're like, yeah, you rock on, baby doll. Ooh, we got 2 more in there. Okay. I've got her little hiney that I'm looking at again. People are going to start asking questions. Hi, Common Sense. How are you? Hi, Danae. Hi, GJ, Gary. Hi, Poison Pond. How are you guys doing? That's what I'm thinking about. Let's see. How many? Let's see. 2.46 rumbles. You guys have been doing well. Thank you for that. That's very organic, and I appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button underneath the video box. And if you'd like to follow us, hit the follow button next to the red WBR Army. Hi, Cornolic. I see you, baby. Hi, Rick and Linda. Hi, Alfie. Hi, Vet Gal. Riverwater, it's great to see you, honey. Ortego Hugo. Hi, Obwan. Hi, Myron. Good to see you. What's up, Ray Carr and Drac Zion? Decreech. Hello from Indiana. Well, hello from Pittsburgh. Yes, MS List. It's pretty much at the beginning of the criminal cartel, everything that we're talking about. It leads me to believe that Congress is nothing but a giant criminal. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I kind of think sometimes what life would be like if we sort of lived like Jim Carrey in the movie Liar, Liar. Like telling the truth, extreme honesty is wrought with peril. It is, because if you don't lie to people and they ask you a serious question, you kind of have to answer it. It could be something superficial. It can be something serious. But I think that I would rather know. I would rather know where I stand with people. I would rather be told the truth. Let me decide. Let me be a big girl and learn how to deal with it. Right? Because if we had a situation in which our media was honest, if they presented things in an objective way without bias, as well as they could, I don't know, maybe we'd have less of this petty infighting and more of a kumbaya, let's fix the problem. But you can't have that if you've got a group that's told you're victims. You need to play the victim card. These terrible people on the other side of the aisle, they hate you because you're different. And that created this huge snowball of ridiculosity to the point now that you're supposed to believe that President Trump and his plays with Iran and all of the moves of this second term are so outrageous and egregious that even MAGA is turning on him. Well, about that. Not really. If you believe polls, and we really don't, but we like to entertain ourselves with them. So let's be entertained. Interactive polls as a tweet today that Brock found. He sent it to me. I was like, ooh, this is a Quinnipiac poll. Apparently, when asked, Republicans were asked, do you approve or disapprove of the job this president is doing? 88% of Republicans approve. 7% disapprove. 88%, I guess 5 other percent, they just didn't show up. Now let's ask that question back on March 8th. It was 72%. 72%. Back on March 23rd, it was 83%. April 13th, it was plus 81%. Now it's 88%. 88% of Republicans agree with the job that this president is doing. Do you or do you not agree with the military action this president has taken against Iran? Again, Republicans only. 86% say, we agree. We approve. This is what we voted for. How about, let's see. His approval when you put in Democrats, according to this Quinnipiac poll, President Trump's approval in general is at 38%, right? But 88% of Republicans. So that means that literally a negligible number, a very infinitesimal number of Democrats approve of the job this president is doing. It's just a disingenuous look, I think. The Democrats, I believe, are disingenuous about the credit they give this administration for doing so much so quickly and for doing a lot of it under budget, right? Now, I don't think if I was asked, do I agree with the job that Barack Obama was doing, or let's just say that Joe Biden, I would absolutely have crushed him in the polls. But how can you honestly, as an American citizen who's not drinking some corrupt Kool-Aid, look and see closed borders and see that as a net negative? How can you look at what this president is doing to create an opportunity, particularly for young men, specifically Gen Z? What do you think this AI stuff is all about? What do you think bringing back manufacturing is all about? What do you think all of this liberation day from tariffs and forcing other countries now to pay their fair share here? What's that all about? That's about bringing in money that you and I deserve, that quite frankly has been stolen from us for years. Fraud, waste, abuse, rampant Somalian threat that apparently, and Haitians, that apparently our Congress believes, it's not egregious enough for us to bounce 350,000 Haitians from this country. This president is trying to dial all that back, and he's doing so in remarkable fashion. And so what are you upset about as a leftist? Are you upset that Donald Trump is effective at the job he told you he was going to do? Are you upset that your taxes are going to come down? And yes, your gas prices will as well. Are you upset that the administration is trying to find dangerous criminals who possibly want to hurt or kill you or the people you love? Are you really opposing that? Because that's not true. You're being disingenuous on the left. What you have is quite different. It's called buyer's remorse. You're upset that you bought into garbage, that you bought into this kumbaya. Everybody, no matter how weird, how wacky, how misfit you are, that you could belong to some big tent idea, that the DNC was going to welcome you and bring you in and it was going to do something for you. No. President Trump has done that. Don't conflate the two things. 88%, ladies and gentlemen. The pendulum is on the move. You guys, you hear about Tennessee? No more Pride Month. It's been replaced. Oh, you're going to love it. Don't miss it next. Pride Month. See you later. I can't imagine how if you have 88% of Republicans who approve, and then the president's net approval is 38%. The only way you counter that 88% is you got a major cataclysmic drop in approval from Democrats, where it's like 10% approve of what you're doing. That's not true. That's not fair. That's not fair. So I don't think Donald Trump cares about his approval ratings right now.
Doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to. Right? All right. Collagen. I was talking with Mary Beth, my gal, today about collagen. She's like, your arms are looking good. And I know what she meant. She was talking about this thing right here. This is where women, you start to see it in your 50s. And if you're not exercising and you're not taking collagen, which is the biggest protein, the most, how do I want to say this? It's the biggest protein in your body is collagen. Okay. And it starts to deplete after age literally 25, 30. Every single year, whittle away a couple more percentage of your collagen. And then that's when you start feeling some things like in your hips, you get joint pain, you get shoulder pain, you hear the crickling. That's crepitus, I think is what they call it, crepitus in your knees. It can lead to all sorts of problems with bones, with cartilage, with your hair looking dull, your nails being thin and like paper thin and like peeling. Collagen is huge to stave off the effects of time. And our friends at getnativepath.com/Wendy have it. I drink it every single day. It's in my MCT Wellness, which I'm drinking right here. Every single day, 10 grams. I drink it every single day. I'm going to fight it. I'm going to fight the hands of time. I'm going to rebuild my collagen. I'm going to rebuild things that are falling apart on my body. And I'm going to stop, at least slow down the clock. Join me. Up to 45% off right here. Getnativepath.com/Wendy. I love them. I think what they do is very important. And I hope that you do it too with me. Are you itchy there? You're cleaning your phone?
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out what the bejeebers you were doing. All right. 88%. 88. HealthyCell.com, you guys. This is a big deal. HealthyCell.com. Imagine being able to lower your blood pressure. Imagine being able to lower your blood sugar. Imagine being able to open up the vessels in your arteries and get more blood flow through your body. Imagine being able to tackle your bone strength. Imagine calming down, not being stressed out, freaking out. Imagine being able to fall asleep and stay asleep. Imagine taking a formula that focuses on the health and well-being of your eyes, right? How healthy is your vision? How healthy is that? All of these are formulations at healthycell.com/Wendy. All of them. And they come in little packets. I'll give you this one. Heart and vascular health. Instead of popping pills, taking medicine, what if you could take a microgel that's 165% more absorbed than traditional supplements, and it gets down into your system? More absorbed meaning it doesn't get torn to shreds in your gut and dissipate, never get to your cells. It gets into your blood system. It gets down to the cellular level, which is why people see such effects. I'll read you this. This is what it says. Take directly from the gel pack or mix in liquid. Take one gel pack daily or as directed by your licensed healthcare professional. Let's see what it does. It says extracts, vitamins, and other nutrients, including CoQ10, resveratrol, and vitamin K to help maintain normal cholesterol and blood pressure. Is a lot better than going to your doctor and needing to get that pharmacy filling your script for Lipitor or whatever it is. Right? HealthyCell.com/Wendy. What's going on over there?
Nothing.
There's a lot of pacing, a lot of motion. Let's check in with Brock. What are you doing? How is just standing up is stretching your leg?
Yeah, just walking around. Feels better when I walk around. So I just walk down the hall and back. Why such the look of disbelief?
Not disbelief. Just keeping a tab on you. Rolling the dice. You never know. Mm-hmm. 4,900 people here. So Tennessee did something that really ticked off the gays.
Not the gays.
I love that all of my friends, all my female friends are gay. So I get to talk.
And they're all conservative.
And they're all conservative. They're great. I love them. They're just salt of the earth, wonderful people. But they're not down with Pride Month. They think that's stupid. They think that's gay.
Neither
do.
am I.
That's gay.
I'm a lesbian trapped in a man's body. Just saying.
So you identify as a lesbian?
Yes. Without the pride flag.
It's such a pretty flag, though. I love that flag.
We want it back.
It's very inclusive with the brown.
Ugh. We're going to go old school. Go old school gay flag.
Who puts brown on a flag, right? Who does that? I don't know. I wouldn't.
Just reminds me of poo.
It's poopy, yes. Oh, shucks.
Poopy.
It's very poopy. Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Okay, so today's show basically was about that we only know such a small infinitesimal skosh of the degree to which Congress is literally a crime syndicate. We thought the Biden crime family syndicate was bad. $30 million, shell companies, 9 family members, right? Grandchildren, all of it. Russia, China. And that never moved the needle. We know what's going on to the degree that we can imagine how dirty the people there are. And then you start to see things begin to change, right? Things are changing. I do believe the pendulum is getting a little bit of momentum. I believe that there's a fissure in the dam, that there's water that's squirting through, and it's about to get gnarly real fast. I think there are going to be a lot of people in Congress who are going to have a hell of a hard time explaining why they've done what they've done and with whom. And I think that we're going to see some people get called out and eliminated. They'll be forced to resign. I think that's going to happen. I think it's necessary. I mean, when we found out yesterday that the PAGE program, the high school PAGE program with Congress, where high school students could spend an hour or 2 hours a week in Congress and hang out with representatives and see what goes on, and that had to be done away with because the male members of Congress were acting as predators on these young girls, some as young as 14, 15, and 16. So instead of fixing the problem, we're going to scrap the program. We're going to eliminate the enticement, right? Rather than talking and fixing the problem, we're going to keep paving over it. We're going to move some stuff out of it. We're going to keep paying until all of a sudden there's a giant calamity. We've got to drill the whole thing up. That's what's going to have to happen. But there are stories that creep up along the way that I think are very hopeful. And it makes me feel in many ways happy that my 3 youngest sons are going to be together in Tennessee next year as our twins begin classes at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville and join their older brother, Ryan. Tennessee is on the money. Tennessee has a supermajority, Republican supermajority. This is a big deal where there's a negligible number of Democrats in the state leadership. This is almost the way it's going to have to be if we're going to be able to drag ourselves out of the mess that we've allowed Democrats and so many Republicans to do to make for us. So what Tennessee just declared is pretty important. And the rainbow crowd out there is not too pleased with it. This is from the UK Daily Mail. The LGBTQ community is upset as Tennessee declares June Nuclear Family Month instead of Pride Month. And apparently there's some furry out there from the left community, dresses up and, some kind of a cartoon character, an animal or what have you. Who's really upset about this. I think we need to talk about this because the nuclear family is what works. Look, I've got many friends who are gay. One of these couples is married, 2 women, married with 2 children. They have the same struggles my husband and I have, the same struggles you and your spouse have, the same trials and tribulations as raising children. It doesn't magically change depending on your partner. It's the traditional family values, though. There's a male, there's a female, and there are children, and there is a structure. A new Tennessee law declaring June as Nuclear Family Month and not Pride Month has sparked outrage. Outrage. You want to know what's outrageous? That you people on the left in the LGBTQ crowd, the T's primarily, have wanted to groom our children so you can sit down if you have a problem with Nuclear Family Month. Because I don't care. Suck it. Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee signed that controversial resolution. It's not controversial. It's common sense. This is a resetting. This is a great resetting of suck. And it's well past time. Controversial resolution, April 9th, just 2 days after it was sent to his desk, following passage through both chambers of the Republican-controlled state legislature. It defines the family unit as comprising 1 husband and 1 wife, and any biological, adopted, or fostered children, and describes the nuclear family as God's design for familial structure and God's perfect design for humanity. Now, one could argue God created me, and if you ask gay people, they didn't choose to be gay. They didn't select it. They didn't think, you know what, I want to have a hard life. I want to make things as difficult for me as possible. And most people, I think if you were to ask them honestly, gay people, would it be easier for you not to be gay? They would say yes. So we could have an argument about what God believes. I don't know. He created each of us in his likeness some way. So then there's that. The resolution, which was first proposed last year, also calls the nuclear family the basic building block of Tennessee's society throughout her formative years, saying it's built the United States of America and created prosperity within our nation. The bill goes on to claim that fatherless households, including links to higher rates of poverty, substance abuse, incarceration, and school shootings, to argue for the superiority of the traditional family. Look, Barack Obama in his first, Father's Day address of 2009, right after he took office, wasn't it that June that Barack Obama came out and he had his Father's Day address where he was talking about the importance of dads? This is not a revolutionary concept. Men and women working together in traditional roles. It works. Imagine that. Of course it does. Men provide exactly what women oftentimes don't, and I can speak for it in my own household. My husband is far more strict with our children than I, and he's probably better off, as are our children, for him so being. There is a discipline. There is a perceived threat of something punitive with dad. Mom, not so much. It works. Studies have shown that once factors such as income and household stability are accounted for, the independent effects of father absence are significantly smaller. But if you are raised without a dad and your mom is working her tail off to support you, would you not agree with me that you are far more likely to slip through the cracks? This bill argues that the nuclear family is under attack and that it is the state's responsibility to, quote, uplift, protect, and support values that help Tennessee. I would agree. The bill was sponsored by Republican State Representative Bud Halsey of Kingsport, was backed by 15 GOP co-sponsors. It took a year to make it through to the Tennessee legislature, and it passed Tennessee House 72-18 and finally cleared the Senate 26-4 last month. LGBTQ groups upset, quick to denounce the resolution, even though there is no enforcement mechanism. Nothing's going to happen. There's nothing punitive to you if you're not a straight married couple raising children. It merely puts the flag back in the sand and takes the other one that's hideous out and says, you know what? Your LGBT nonsense flag that's got brown and weird arrows and whatnot in it, get it off of our churches too. I'm not interested in seeing it at the airport. I'm not interested in seeing it at the federal building in my community. And by the way, it has no business in our schools. There ought to be one flag. One flag. The only flag at some of these locations. And you know what that one is. So no more Pride Month in Tennessee. Instead, Nuclear Family Month. You know, there's something very interesting also going on. New polling showing that this push back to the basics, back to common sense, back to biology, back to what you're made to tick like. Gen Z is feeling it, particularly Gen Z men, who, by the way, are going to church a lot more than they used to. A lot more than the young ladies are. Let's pull up this poll. This is Gallup. Rise in young men's religiosity realigns gender gaps. Young men in the United States now surpass young women on importance of a religion. And they have a slight edge on affiliation and a tie on attendance. But I want to get you the real stuff. 42% of young men, this is Gallup's latest data from 2024 to 2025. It shows 42% of young men, 18 to 29, saying religion is very important to them, up sharply from 28% in 2022 to 2023. But when you look at the chicks, you look at the young women, what happened? They have basically the same kind of 30%. Yeah, it's important to me, but it hasn't changed. Young men are seeking religion. Maybe they're going to church because that's where they believe instead of going to a bar like where I met my husband in a bar playing pool. Maybe they have a chance. Maybe there's going to be somebody who's also going to church that day who has their values, because the values aren't old. You can call them traditional. You can call them outdated all you want. They work. Men and women working together, staying in their lanes, doing what they do. It works. What does this say? I don't know, but I have 5 children, and then you know this. They're all boys, and they're all Generation Z. 17 to 26, all of them understanding what's at stake out there. It's hard to find a good young woman who's not been indoctrinated, groomed, or given a bunch of baloney that they parrot out because they want relevance, but they have no idea what they're talking about. The boys are very simple. They want someone honest who will love them, who they can adore and support. And God willing, God blessing them to raise a family with, and very simply enjoy the finer parts of life. Period. Why do Democrats have to make everything so complicated? When we come back on the Wendy Bell Radio program, let's tie it up. You ready? Tie it up in a bow? I like that. Just a few minutes for the end of the Wendy Bell Radio program next. Well, I like this. Importance of religion among U.S. men and women. Look, my kids don't go to church regularly, but I told them as they went to Catholic church and they were altar servers, why do we have to do this? Well, there's 2 reasons. One, you serve the church, you give back what you're getting, which is an excellent education and in a great community. You'll serve that community to give back a small degree. And number 2, so that you understand the Catholic Mass, so that no matter where you are in the world, if you're working overseas and everything in your life blows up, there's always a place where you're welcome, where you're familiar with the gospel, you understand. It's always home to you. It was important to me. Even before I became Catholic. All right, one final thing I want to tell you about. GLP-1 Gold by Juvenon. I really strongly encourage you to go to bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Everything on the site is 30% off to you, which is ridiculous. It's like Tulip Blooms. Tulip Blooms was like, oh my gosh, we love your audience. We're going to give them a bonus, an extra 10% off on top of the 10% off. I was like, okay, that's great. The Soothe stuff and the Soothe. Yeah, this is the same way. These are the people who I trust with Blood Flow 7. Changed my life. I've never felt stronger or more capable in my life. Right? Ridiculous. This, get your brain and your belly talking to each other so you don't eat so damn much. Right? You don't need a shot. You don't need some shot to convince you not to eat so much. Maybe you need a little nudge. This hormone, GLP-1, can gradually decrease over time. So again, just like other things like collagen, this helps you. This eliminates that food noise that drives you nutty and makes you want to eat a sleeve of Pringles. This helps. And it's not $500 a month like some of the shots are. This is $1 a day. $1 a day, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. If you have significant weight to lose, this is not for your muffin top, little squish. This is, I've got a lot to do. This is going to help you. GLP-1 Gold, bloodflow7.com/Wendy. All right. I do not have a segment planned here, by the way. So did you see anything that you think is a great wrap up? Not to put you on the spot, but I'm putting you on the spot.
No.
Thank you.
I mean, I think the Haitian thing is nuts. House votes down war powers resolution. How come these votes never came up when Barack Obama was dropping more bombs than the president? Of course, Thomas Massey voted yes. Jared Golden voted no. So Jared Golden.
I'm telling you, he was the most based. Like, he's the guy whose parents were union workers, who was raised in a conservative part of Maine, very conservative. But he votes alongside his constituents. It's a novel thought. It's not about your personal vendetta. What was that you were just reading? Where was it? Program, we seem to have forgotten this overarching philosophy that should really be preeminent among all of these conversations, and it's whatever is best for America. That's what I liked about that whole MAGA thing. As much as they tried to sully it and attach it to you like a scarlet letter that deserved admonition, that's a thing of glory. When you walk around and you say, I believe in making America great again, that means sometimes taking it on the chin and swallowing something that you don't want. The House just voted down a war powers resolution moments ago. And the point of the war powers resolution was to stop President Trump's operation against Iran. Who voted alongside all of the Democrats save one? Thomas Massey. Look, this is why I talk about John Fetterman as much as I do. Say what you will about the individual. Say what you will about his priorities, about the things that are important to him, perhaps legislatively. They're not necessarily my priorities. But when you boil it down to what his philosophy is country over party. Country. What is best for America? Is it best for America for him to be a curmudgeon who decides to do anything he can to counter this president because he's a Democrat? Or is it his job, knowing that he has many constituents in the state of Pennsylvania who are Republican, to go and try to work with the president in this administration? Why is it that the guy who had a stroke can see that so clearly when Thomas Massie is blinded by his revenge hate of President Trump? Trump calling him out for many things, and Thomas Massie digging in his heels, even if it's absolutely lousy for America. This voting down a war powers resolution, this was decided by one vote. Thomas Massie decided to vote alongside the Democrats, and there was one Democrat in the House of Representatives who voted alongside the Republicans, Jared Golden. The young veteran, the gentleman I had the pleasure of meeting at the Omni Bedford Springs Resort last year. One Democrat. Sometimes north is still north is difficult. But Thomas Massie, Rand Paul, people who want to do things because it's good for them or it's good for their future, their reelection. You know what? We didn't elect you for you. We elected you to do what we want you to do. And as a mom, I support 100% this president taking out the Iranian regime. I support 100% this president telling the truth about the criminals that cross the border, who have killed how many of our sons and daughters? How many more have to die? Thomas Massie joined the Democrats, who are on the wrong side of everything. They were on the wrong side of COVID, on the wrong side of taxes, on the wrong side of space exploration, on the wrong side of defense. They're on the wrong side of tariffs. They're on the wrong side of your children, screwing over your children every single day. They're on the wrong side of everything. The pendulum is swung. It's moving. It's starting to gain momentum. People like Rosie O'Donnell making an epiphany about Eric Swalwell deceiving her. She might be mad at men. Rosie O'Donnell's mad at Rosie O'Donnell. She might not know it yet. But she's a grown-up. And as grown-ups, we take responsibility for what we do and how we vote. And if you vote and how you vote gets you suck, you can either point fingers and blame other people, or you can do the grown-up thing and say, you know what, dang it, I take ownership of this. Robert De Niro is getting that same buyer's remorse about Zohran Mamdani and Kathy Hochul, who promised, no, we're not going to be punitive. No, you vote for us. It's going to be socialism all over the place. Free food, free bus rides, free childcare, except wah, wah. None of that is coming true. So Bob, Rosie, others in Congress, wake up. America knows exactly what's at stake. We voted for results. We expect a president that can get them for us. That means you have to get out of the way. Doesn't it seem so easy when we talk about it on this show? I should be in Congress. Don't even say that. Not even a chance. It's going to happen, you guys. Have faith. The repaving is on the way. The milling equipment has arrived. We'll be driving smooth, hopefully soon. Thanks for being a part of the program. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Peace.